What is up, RotoGrinders? Welcome to the NFL Pick 6 show, week number 14. Usual suspects, two of the absolute best in the business. John Daigle, wish him a happy birthday in the chat and in the comment section from ETR, of course, Establish the Run. Do support his fabulous work, as well as Rich Hribar. Rich Hribar from Sharp Football Analysis, myself, Dean Shavelson. Week 14, we're talking the main slate, 11 games. New England, the Giants, Carolina, San Fran on a bye. Unfortunately, we do not get to talk about Dallas and Detroit, the game of the week on Thursday night. That'll be a lot of fun. We will talk K-pop Demon Hunters later on in the show, so get excited about that. Do stay tuned. TJ won our 5-man previously to assign us that movie. That's way after the football. And also Rob won the 5-man this week, and he's threatening us. He's threatening us with gifts in our private chat, and we're all very scared that he's going to make us watch something horrifying. But cleanse the palate that was K-pop Demon Hunters. We'll talk about that again much later in the show. We're talking main slate DFS week 14. Daigle, how are things? Happy Wednesday.
Doing great. The birthday is Friday, but I guess this is the birthday show, so that's totally acceptable. And no Friendsgiving before the show this week, so back to full strength. Glad to be back with everyone with a normal conscience.
We love Friendsgiving, Daigle. That's one of our favorite versions of Daigle. I saw people in the comment section were enjoying it as well, so nice to see we have original OG Daigle is perfectly fine as well. Hribar, week 14. You were talking about running some optimals pre-show, and like JJ McCarthy was showing up. Good Lord. I thought we were done with this. Justin, I thought we were out. Yeah, man, it's another, we'll talk about it. We're going to do we're coming off the worst week as far, I think. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but it was really gross last week.
It was the lowest scoring fantasy week of the season.
And we kind of knew that. We knew it'd go.
And that's counting Thanksgiving. Like, we're counting the good games.
I mean, all you have to do to summarize it is say our friend Notorious, of course, of RotoGrinders.
Yes.
Won $50K with a quarterback that averaged 3.7 yards per attempt. Like, that's how ugly the entire slate in fantasy football was.
He had a naked Ward as his quarterback, and he won $50K. He only made 2 lineups. I talked about it with him earlier in the week. He only made 2 lineups, and he made a run at the Million Maker. He won some other contests as well. I know producer TJ made a run at the Million Maker as well. He was very, very close. Rob, who won our 5-man, also had a big week. Myself, I got wrecked on DK, but I got bailed out with one good lineup. That's all you need, one good lineup on FanDuel. So that bailed me out. But week 14, Rich, I don't know, man. And first look, so you're in Cleveland. I had boots in the ground. 33.5. Are we expecting just horrific weather, or is this just Tennessee and Cleveland? And that's the most points they could possibly muster together. I've not seen the weather. Roth's weather is not out just yet. It's Wednesday night. I'm sure you saw that total. 33.5.
Oh, listen, I wrote about the game, unfortunately. I wrote about players in the game, but yeah, I mean, even, always when I do the worksheet, I go in and just objective. I don't have like any opinion on doing any rankings beforehand. I write up the games. And this week in general, like it's rough. And like, this is a big pivotal week for fantasy football, but like so many quarterbacks are in bad spots this week. Mm-hmm. And like, it's not even a great streaming week either. So it's going to be an adventure, I think, this week. Totals are crazy. I mean, the game is on Monday night is indoors with the Chargers. It's only 40.5 points. Like, the Eagles have their lowest team total of the season indoors. The books are done with them. We've got Mahomes with down 3 offensive linemen against the best pass rush of the NFL. Who knows if we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson, but he's literally going through the worst stretch of his career.
He's healthy though.
Yes, yeah, he practiced today.
Not the injury report.
We're going to talk about a guy that has a fractured fibula and is playing a fractured fibula. Like, this is a nightmare, man. Like, what's going on in fantasy football? And November was the worst month of the season, like offensively. Not 1 week of November did NFL teams average 2 points per drive in the season. Wow. This is the lowest passing yards through 13 weeks we've had since 2006. Like, it's just we're fighting tooth and nail for fantasy points here.
We still have 5 weeks, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
It's a good
thing. Always get worse.
They looked at all this. They said, what we should do is extend the season. It's not long enough. We got to make it longer. We got to make some more money. Daigle, you choose the 3 games we talk about, the 3 main games. You circle back, of course, and talk about our favorite plays, position by position. The chat usually guesses. I feel like this will be a good week to guess. So I think there's some the good games are obvious, I think. And the games are obvious. Let's go ahead and talk about it. The very first game we're going to talk about, biggest total on the board, Cincinnati at Buffalo. Buffalo's a 5.5-point favorite. 52.5 is the total. Not sure about T. Higgins here on a Wednesday night. I think he was practicing limited with his concussion, so we'll see. Stay tuned as far as his ability to play on Sunday. But Daigle, get us started. Buffalo against Cincinnati. If you just want to lock in some guaranteed points, then Josh Allen's right there. Josh Allen seems like a pretty good play against Cincinnati. Team total at 29 currently. How are you handling the Bengals and the Bills? Daigle, start wherever you want to start.
Not only the highest team total of the main slate, but the highest team total of the entire week. And we know that's most likely because Vegas is projecting the Bills to do whatever they want on the Bengals. I'll start with Cincinnati's side, though, because I do think this is one of those games that could go either direction. Like even Joe Burrow and helping produce 32 points against the Ravens, another really stout pass defense since they got fully healthy last week. A lot of it came at the end of 6 field goals, and Burrow still averaged only 5.7 yards per attempt. And you just look at what the Bills have done, because we know that typically teams can run and have done so successfully on Buffalo. But in terms of passing and wanting to get to Cincinnati's passing game, sure, you can go that route. It's Joe Burrow. We know his range of outcomes includes 4 touchdowns with ease. But the Bills have been in similar tough spots before this year. Drake May, the MVP, only scored 12 fantasy points. Patrick Mahomes had 10.5. Baker had 6 passing points against them, but the box score looked better because he had 39 yards and a rushing touchdown, which Burrow is not going to do since he was clearly still hampered in that game, just getting rid of the ball super quickly. And so I do think it's a more volatile game than Vegas is leading on. But again, this is where we start because it is the highest total on the board.
Rich, your thoughts as far as Bills Bengals? Wherever you want to start, go for it.
Yeah, you look at the Bills defense and the passing volume that we're probably going to have here for Joe Burrow, and it's still like one of those spots where I'm just like, all right, like we know the volume's going to be there, and like shit, people are still playing Jacoby Brissett every week because of just how many dropbacks he has, right? And like he's been like objectively terrible for like a month, but he keeps getting there because of passing volume. And I figured that's what we could still have with Burrow. I mean, the fact that they just let him throw the ball around as much as he did in that first game with kind of just like no regard. 49 dropbacks in that game. It was the second most of week 3. They were 3% over pass rate expectation. So I figure like by volume, he can still gonna get there. And then the other impactful note here for the potential Buffalo side is the injury to Joey Bosa, who had a hamstring injury. The Bills have faced 113 dropbacks with Joey Bosa off the field this season. They drop to 16th in pressure rate on those plays. They go to 27th in completion rate allowed. They go to 31st in yards per pass attempt allowed on those plays too. So Joey Bosa potentially not playing this game is a potential outlet too for some efficiency. Obviously, we would love Higgins back because the efficiency that we saw last week was kind of where we left off last year when Burrow didn't have Higgins on the field. Remember, everything went up when Higgins on the field, which makes sense, right? Like he's a good football player, but Burrow last year averaged 1.7 more yards per pass attempt with Higgins on the field. His touchdown rate went up 1.8%. His completion rate went up 8%. So if Higgins is back and Joey Bosa's out, like those are 2 other avenues kind of where Joe Burrow can maybe add some efficiency to what doesn't look like a good matchup on paper.
I'm guessing it doesn't matter. The Bills signed Darius Slay, 34. Is it kind of over for him, Rich? If he plays, he doesn't play. He's not making a difference.
I mean, they're already playing a bunch. They're already playing Tre'Davious White, another like old dusty dude. So I mean, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
And Darius Slay already was cooked by Jamar Chase if they want to go that route.
I would say the one thing we didn't get was the carryover from Gesicki's usage without T. Higgins last week, since he only ran 5 more routes than Noah Fant. Tanner Hudson was the one, oddly enough, to go inside the end zone for all of them. But that does give me hope that if T. Higgins were to return, not only are we eliminating Mitchell Tinsley from even thinking about playing him, and I guess in large field, if you're trying to nuke the field, you can always play a cheap Mitchell Tinsley. He has been targeted on 37% of his routes the last couple of games, as opposed to Andre Yoshivas, who kind of just disappeared. But more importantly, that does still give you outs for only playing Chase and Higgins.
The Bengals feel like a poor man's Rams, right? With all the tight ends they have. They don't run the 13, but I don't think they do. But Gesicki, Fant, Sample, Hudson. I think Gesicki was lining up as a receiver mostly, if I'm not mistaken.
He's basically a receiver.
Yeah, but there's a
so
lot
is Terrence Ferguson, so it's fine.
Yeah. How about Chase Brown? I think P. Ryan played a little bit too much for my liking, but they had a lot of plays, so he's still got plenty of volume. If you want to beat the Bills, I think Rich is supposed to run the ball against the Bills, right? How do you feel about Chase Brown this week?
Yeah, it's tricky because when you look at the box score, he had over 20 touches for the third straight game, got over 100 yards, but the Bengals ran 80 plays last week, which was the most in the NFL. So it didn't really kind of showcase the actual workload he had. He only had 57.9% of the backfield touches. The 3 weeks prior with P. Ryan out, it was 91%, 89%, 91%. He caught 7 passes because they ran so many plays, but his routes significantly dropped. He ran a route on 55% of the dropbacks. With P. Ryan out, it was 86%, 83%, 76%. So if we just run like a normal amount of play volume, the splits could look a lot differently. So he does, I think, have some more fragility, but it is, a team that's allowing a lot of explosive runs. It turns out that if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and have a quarterback that can't play under center, that's kind of the elixir the Buffalo Bills need, right? When you can't do anything from under center. So the Bengals will be under center a little bit though, and they'll be mixing in the run and the pass. The Bills are going to be playing to defend the pass too. They'll be playing a lot of nickel in this game, so at least he can hit some explosives. But I am a little cautious about his actual workload compared to if the Bengals run like 60 to 65 plays, like a normal team.
I feel like his out has to be like Jaylen Warren last week, where we knew Kenneth Gainwell would be sprinkled in, but Warren still got there all because he scored a touchdown.
He has to score a touchdown if you play him in DFS anyways.
Yeah.
This might be a trick question. I'll ask Daigle first, but the pass catcher you trust most on the Bills is who?
Dawson Knox.
Oh. Okay. And is there actually a trust level there? But this
no.
Just pick somebody.
Well, you know what? If you're playing Josh Allen and spending down, yeah, because we've seen the past couple weeks, Bengals all year against tight ends, but the past couple weeks, like Hunter Henry came up out of the grave for a double-digit fantasy points, his first in 7 games, all because he played the Bengals. Last week, we saw Isaiah Likely was helpful in DFS, all because he played the Bengals. So, yeah, I think Dawson Knox literally led them in routes run. Like more than their wide receivers. He led the whole team last week, 75% route participation. So, yeah, that's my pick just because he's also a cheap. And I think the way most people are going to play this is through Josh Allen and James Cook. So even tacking on a unique, cheap Dawson Knox is fine.
Is that how you would play the Bills, Rich? I think you could play a naked Allen. I think you could play Cook. I was thinking about it, and again, this is Wednesday night, but it's on my head. I don't like to say definitively, but I feel like I'd like to have one of Allen or Cook like in every lineup I make. Just like, one of those guys probably has a big game. They're going to score 29. Allen's going to get 4 touchdowns or Cook's going to get 2, something like that. But how would you build a Buffalo stack or like the path with Allen? Who would you connect with him, if anybody?
If Dalton Kincaid plays, I would play him still at his price. I mean, if we get there for the largely reasons Daigle said, but just because he's a guy too, you don't need full route participation for. Like if he's going to be limited, that's what he always was. I mean, in his games played, he's only run a route on 53% of the dropbacks. But there have been 14 tight ends this year that have had 100-yard receiving games. Only 4 guys have done it multiple times. Dalton Kincaid's one of those. Also, the Bengals have allowed a league high 3 of those games. So, if he plays, I still think that he offers enough per target upside to play. But I think that like your rule is the way I'm going to approach this slate initially until we see what opens up on this slate. Is that I'm going to have one of Josh Allen and James Cook in every lineup. They are hard to play together due to the salary, but the Bills are second in the NFL in points per drive at home compared to 17th on the road. Josh Allen scores the most fantasy points per game at home this season. So he feels like a guy like I just want to have exposure to even at his cost, because I even ran through all the quarterbacks like that are kind of in like wonky spots, and some of them aren't on the slate like Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. But I think that Josh Allen is in a spot where like he could have like a 30, 35 point game. And we're in that point of the season where like these AFC conference games, Bills need wins. Like this is the Josh Allen experience time, right? Like this is where the takeover is. And even with last week's game, the Bengals are still 30th in passing points allowed to quarterbacks, 31st in yards per pass attempt. So I think it's hard not to want to play Josh Allen. Obviously, that's an easy play. And then James Cook has just been on an absolute tear since their bye. I mean, he's averaging 140 total yards per game since the week 7 bye. He's gone over the century mark in 5 of 6 of those games. And he's only 54 yards now behind Jonathan Taylor and for the rushing lead. All the efficiencies there. He actually faces the highest runs into stack boxes too. And then he's gotten a little involved in the pass game here. You know, he has 14 catches for 136 yards the past 4 weeks. And you're like, oh, well, that's like not that impressive. But he had 13 catches for 100 yards over his first 8 games of the season. Like him just doing anything as a pass catcher is important. So, and the Bengals have allowed also league high 17 touchdowns to the running backs. It's just really hard not to go away from those two guys.
Daigle, how much of a priority is Allen, Cook, as far as building your lineups this week?
I think a high priority, and we do have some toss-ups at running backs. We'll get to Jonathan Taylor in a couple games here highlighted, but that's the key, is that it's also such an ugly slate that I look at Josh Allen, and I think there are genuinely 2, maybe, other quarterbacks I would play. So I think I just naturally start with Josh Allen and get unique from there.
There are 2 other quarterbacks you play. Oh, not instead of.
No, just on the entire slate. I personally think it's a very bad quarterback slate.
Yeah, but I think unlike last week, I don't know if like the cheap guy is going to get you there because of the way the last week played out, with just because it was such a low scoring week. And we'll see what shakes out, like I said. But you know, all the high scoring quarterbacks were not on the slate really. Like on the main slate, Bryce Young was the highest scoring quarterback. So you could get there with guys like Tyrod and Brissett again, Tyler Shuck. I think that's gonna be a little bit harder to combat on this particular slate.
Completely agree, and I also think that's why a variation of lineups won last week. Like the Millie Maker, I believe, was a standalone, a naked Jacoby Brissett. We talked about Noto with naked Cam Ward. Wiggins of ETR, he won the 3K tournament with the Jets, so Tyrod Taylor Newt with A.D. Mitchell, Mechie, and Breece Hall. And I believe it was Bijan coming back as well. Like there was just so many different lineups, but the point of last week was to spin down to isolate the cheap offense, and so you could spend up everywhere else.
Congrats to Wiggins. Anything else here as far as Buffalo and Cincy, or shall we scoot along the game too?
No, I think we covered about everything.
I should have added, obviously, the caveat when I said Knox was yes, if Kincaid's out. If Kincaid plays, then I will also be playing Kincaid. This is not like Davis Mills being the cash gain option last week.
I mean, I won't force Kincaid. I think that like it's, it always sucks to say it, Josh Allen, you don't have to play with anyone, but you really don't. You really don't.
Agree. Yeah. And CJ Stroud was the cash gain option last week, so I was kind of on it.
Yeah.
Colts, Jags. Colts are slight favorites here in Jacksonville. 47.5 is the total. Colts currently 1.5 point favorite. You mentioned one of you guys mentioned Daniel Jones, or a quarterback playing with the leg. Yeah, that would be Daniel Jones, and he's not playing very well either. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but it has not been great for Jones of late. Get us started here, Rich, as far as the Jaguars and the Colts. 2 of my least. I do not like playing Trevor Lawrence, but he's projecting pretty well once again this week. Because he's pretty cheap. How do you feel about Indy, Jacksonville? Start wherever you want to start.
Yeah, Daniel Jones hasn't been bad. He's just been kind of just like, lukewarm, right? Like he scored like 14 to 17 fantasy points like in like over the past month. He's like living as that like kind of floor-based QB2. But you look at some of the games he's played, and it's like, all right, like these are opponents that we kind of expected the Colts to finally slow down. And we knew they eventually would off that pace. Like they were literally tracking like 2013 Broncos levels of like efficiency. And like we knew that was eventually going to come down. He was pressured on, 57% of his dropbacks last week. When he was kept clean, though, he was still really good against the Texans. I mean, 8 of 12 kept clean, 9 yards per pass, and 2 passing touchdowns. We know like the rushing floor doesn't exist for him anymore. Like he doesn't look like he can move, and that's kind of the problem, right? But he has some outlets, I think, here as a passer to have some efficiency. I mean, he's still been really good when they use play action. Jacksonville's been really susceptible to the play action pass. On non-play action passes, they're 8th in completion rate and 3rd in yards per pass attempt allowed, but they go to 16th in completion rate, 14th in yards per pass attempt allowed against the play action pass. Jacksonville has faced a few passers that kind of operate similarly like the Colts, like Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford. They allowed QB1 weeks to those guys as well. So he's kind of sneaky, I think, like a little bit on this slate, because I think that there could be passing volume here. Remember, the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2 of my kids were born. Like, so
is that right?
2014 was last. Like, they always struggle down there. Like, they always play bad there. Colts fans know this. Like, this is probably because this is not like the game where it's like, oh, we've dropped a couple, we need to pick one up, because obviously now this is for, you're fighting for the division now. It's now turned into a 3-horse race. No pun intended with the Colts there, but they don't play well down there, and the Jags have been playing really good. So it's like, I think there could be some passing volume here for Daniel Jones. Could be kind of sneaky to play him, but you don't get the rushing out for him anymore. So it's more of like he'd be more of like a single entry where I'm really stacking this game up, as opposed to kind of trying to like play him in large field.
Favorite pass catcher, is it Pierce?
It's both. I think Tyler Warren would be my favorite in this particular game. We've seen him also slow down in some really tough matchups, but he's still got all the peripherals. Like, he's been, on the field for 82% of the dropbacks, 22% of the team targets over the past month. Like, those are all still really good. But if we do think that the Colts are going to have success with the play action pass, like, he's the big signal, right? He leads the team with a 28% target share when the Colts run play action, 4.35 yards per out run on play action passes. He leads all tight ends in receiving yards on play action. And on top of that, like, even without that nugget, like, Jacksonville's been a target for us with tight end play anyways. Tight ends have scored 26% of the fantasy points allowed by the Jaguars. That's the 3rd highest rate. They're 31st in catches allowed per game to tight ends. They're 22nd in touchdown rate. So I think Tyler Warren would be my favorite way to play it. But I do think you can make a couple cases here too for Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. So I won't step on all the guys here, but I'll say Warren would be my one.
Daigle, Colts offense?
Yeah, I like playing it through Daniel Jones, if only because it's also good leverage off of Jonathan Taylor. And JT can obviously get there any week because he's JT. Like, when we talk about Burrow, we understand the range of outcomes. But it is a pretty terrible matchup, given that the Colts haven't allowed more than 63 rushing, or the Jaguars haven't allowed more than 63 rushing yards to any running back so far this year. And so if I'm just trying to get away from that and their 3rd best success rate on the ground, like, that's how I do it. I play it through Daniel Jones. It's the same spot that made us enticed to play Cam Ward last week. Rich talked about Cam Ward as well last week, just because of the matchup. And it was the true test, given that if you remove Justin Herbert, who got injured in that game prior to Cam Ward, then the Jaguars had allowed at least over 18 fantasy points to 6 quarterbacks in a row. So I view it as a way just to get back on that train and cross my fingers that Daniel Jones can get it done through the air.
I'm just worried about his upside not being able to move. One carry for 1 yard last week? I don't know if that was a sneak or not, but
yeah, he has only over 3 carries in one of his last 5 games. Like, it's clearly injury that's hampering. But again, it's the Jaguars secondary. This is the matchup we're probably going to talk about every week for the next 5 weeks. So I think that's just a way to play it. And again, it's good leverage too off of JT if you want to go that route.
How much are you prioritizing JT?
When I see Devon Achane and James Cook, I think he's going to be 3rd on that list for me.
I want to see what our current ownership is. Obviously, this stuff could change, but let's see.
A couple cheapies hanging out there too.
We have, let's see, on DK, Achane 28%, Jacobs 21%. Isn't Jacobs questionable now, or didn't something happen to him today? Am I making that up? I thought I saw something about Jacobs. Maybe that was somebody else. I'm not sure. Genty at 20, Cook at 20, Hall at 19, Taylor 18. So it's really congested right now.
We gotta stop the Sims. We gotta stop the Sims. Against the Broncos, you're gonna play 20% Ashton JT. Like, come on, man. I hope that happens.
They're doing everything they can to get the ball in his hands, but that offense is probably going to be 3 now.
They saw him score the Raiders' only touchdown the last time they played.
I'll just say that there's no way that when we get to Sunday and we flip over the cards that JT's 20% rostered.
I would take the under on 20 as well. Yeah, I'm not eager to play Genty versus Denver. Certainly not.
I mean, always that, like you said, always these Sims that, like, when you first run them, you're gonna get like the weird, just like median projection stuff really shines on the Wednesday nights.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how much stuff you ran or where you ran it from, but our most popular receiver, again, a grain of salt, I have to stress this, but the receiver hitting the most. Oh, go ahead.
Jacoby Myers?
No.
Too expensive?
This is DK. It's not Jacoby Myers. It is a cheap receiver. I'll tell you that. Less than 4K.
Pat Bryant.
Yeah,
yes, there it is. Yeah. Get it. Now you said that. Is he going to be a thing all week? Is that going to sustain?
No one knows. No one knows.
I mean, Sean Payton doesn't know.
Yeah. It is Pat Bryant.
We always talk about like the questions I get asked the most in my Discord Q&As. And I mean, the number of, can I trust Troy Franklin? It's like, no. Like, you can start him and you can start Pat Bryant if you want to, but can you trust them? Absolutely not. Of course not.
What other goofy like start sit question? You're probably getting just like
nothing. Oh, it's the time of the year where Rich knows this. You get like what defense should I start in week 16 and 17?
Oh.
It's the fantasy playoff time of the year.
People are stashing defenses like 3 weeks in advance now. Is that what they're doing?
Always. Yeah.
How big are those benches? I can't believe you can do that. But
I know. I think it's an archaic approach. Like I don't mind it with deeper benches, but what's happened since they expanded to 18 games is that we get to this point at the end of the year, every single year, where the quarterback plays just so bad that there are literally 8 to 10 streaming defenses on waiver wires every single week. And so there's just no need to stash.
I fixed the NFL. I solved it. They're never going to do it. You guys want to know? I have the plan. You ready for it?
Yeah, fix it.
24 teams. Get rid of 8 teams. I mean, again, there's a billion reasons that'll never happen. But imagine 24, same pool of players, but 24 teams.
Well, I hate to tell you that we're about to be at 34 teams with Brazil and Australia and 20 weeks with 2 bye weeks. So I think we're going the opposite way of you.
Right. Well, because money exists. I know, but I'm just trying to make the product better. And I'm sorry, there's a red tag in your locker, Houston. And maybe Arizona or Carolina. I haven't figured out the 8 teams we're cutting, but it's not happening. Your franchises are safe. Jacksonville, Daigle, what do you got?
Yeah, it's just interesting how to play it because Parker Washington had really been their best receiver, oddly enough, for like a month and a half while Brian Thomas was banged up. But now Jacoby Myers comes up, and he hits season highs across the board, obviously, as he still gets more integrated. I believe he'll be a popular option, but I do think Brenton Strange is kind of live here too, given that the past couple of games, he's been a top 8 tight end since he returned from injury. He's been targeted on 23% of his routes in that time, which is the 8th best among tight ends. And quietly now, Brenton Strange, a top 12 finish in 4 of his last 5 full games for the Jaguars as well. So really, there's a lot of moving pieces here as we wait on Parker Washington. Brian Thomas is someone that, we've stuck around in the past, but someone we really don't trust. And so, for Jacksonville, again, they just use everyone, even the backfield. If we tried Travis Etienne, Bashal Tutin last week, go back to week 12, whenever Tutin was truly questionable, he played, got out touched by Travis Etienne. But in the 2 games around that, so week 11 and week 13, he's out-touched Travis Etienne 28-21. Not only that, but last week even 3 carries inside the 10 to Etienne 0. So I still feel like they're an offense that are figuring things out on the fly, which is hard to pinpoint for DFS.
Rich, Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is scoring points. That's like you said. It's the reason since week 5, he's the QB8 in points per game. We brought him up last week too, especially on the slate where I was like, he could be very viable in cash games. He's still bad. Like you look at over the last 8 weeks, like he's 26th in completion rate, QB 17 in yards per pass attempt. His best passing games have come against like the Titans, the Cardinals. Then like he's been really bad against like teams like the Texans, the Seahawks. Like all those teams, but he's running though. I mean, he's averaging 6.3 rushing points per game over his past 8 games, which you like, Dean. You always like the guys that can run. So you get a little bit of a sprinkling where you get a little bit of the passing volume, you get some rushing. They're using him as a runner near the red zone. So he's kind of live still in a game that like they've got to win. This game could pop too. It could be relatively high scoring as well with both teams throwing the football. Like Daigle said, it's hard to get like locked in on like one Jaguar pass catcher. I think that if you have a flavor, it's fine. I like Strange too. I like Myers just fine. Even Brian Thomas, the ghost of Brian Thomas, could be a wild card here if Parker Washington doesn't play. So it's just tough to gauge who to stack them with. So that's what makes it a little bit tricky playing from the Jaguar side. And we have a few teams like that now in the NFL where like the backfield's not even like compartmentalized and like specific roles. It's just like guys are interchangeable, and it's really, really kind of frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy when we did the qualifier for Brian Thomas Jr. at 5'9". We did the qualifier of if Parker Washington that qualifier is necessary. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're week 14. Like we can't.
No, I get it. I
adjust our priors here.
This is the conundrum that people have between. I've mentioned Kenneth Walker in back-to-back weeks. Kenneth Walker was heavily rostered, heavily owned last week in DFS, like 30% in small field. But even then, that's the kind of backfields that we're facing. Is that it just every single week is every backfield is Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard.
Walker has been the on my best team the back-to-back weeks that both were really, really good, and the worst player on my best teams. And I'm not happy with Charbonnet, but it's not Charbonnet's fault. But Walker just, man, he can't. I keep playing him, and it's just I'm told he's got breakaway speed. I'm told he's a home run hitter, and we have not quite. He's in a slump. I feel like we've not seen a homer.
He's my RB2 in the infamous 32 team Superflex Guillotine League. I tell y'all about. That I'm one of the last 5 teams in now.
Is your team just loaded now? I've not played with those guillotine, but is that where we're at this point?
A 32 team league has Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jalen Hurts. I was picking up players like well ahead for matchups and ignoring bye weeks. That's the advantage I have over everyone is that I know the matchup. So for instance, I'll skip over players I know people are going to bid a lot on, and I'll just go for like better matchups instead.
I got to join one of these. I've never done it before. Next year,
my best league, my most fun
like Guillotine League. And you guys mentioned that both these teams are 8-4, like Jacksonville, Indy, 8-4 division game. So this game will go a long way to see who's winning the division. Of course, Houston right in their tail, 7-5 playing on Monday night. The thing, Rich, you're talking about Lawrence running, like. I want somebody that can run to get ceiling, and he's running just to kind of make value.
To get value.
But
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
He's running, but like it's not like it's he cracked he's just getting where he's supposed to get. Basically, he's getting kind of bailed out by the legs. But I hear you. Certainly in play. Game 3. We're done with this one, I assume. Moving on. Yes.
Well, we did you want to talk about just Alec Pierce and?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. We touched on it, but feel free to clean it up. What did I miss?
Oh, I'll just say if anyone wants to just some notes on those guys, because it's funny that like everyone keeps telling you how much money Alec Pierce is going to make. It's like, you'll be surprised. They're like, will everyone be surprised if everyone keeps telling us how much money Alec Pierce is going to make?
Yeah.
I don't know. But when you look at this matchup in particular, there's kind of pros for both guys, which is interesting. And I already brought up pros for Tyler Warren. The Jaguars are really bad against outside receivers, and they are really bad against vertical targets. That ties into some of the play action stuff that we talked about it too. But they also play a ton of too high safety stuff, which has been like a big positive signal for Michael Pittman as well. So both of those guys, I think you can make bull cases for too. I think from a ceiling perspective, Alec Pierce obviously still offers the most upside. So I'll check in and just see kind of where ownership is on some of these guys, because I do think Daniel Jones doubles are in play, because if Daniel Jones hits himself, it's because they're throwing 3+ passing touchdowns.
I did just Google the upcoming free agent wide receivers. I wanted to see how deep the pool was. If people keep talking about Alec Pierce, of course, Pickens everybody knows about.
He's not getting out.
Could Dallas tag him? Can they?
Yeah, they could tag him.
Okay, that's probably. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. Number 2, according to this list, Shaheed, Debo, Alec Pierce, Jacoby Myers, Wan'Dale Robinson, Dobbs, Mike Evans. It's not a great list. Feels like a pretty bad list.
I mean, that's pretty great for free agency, to be honest.
I must say, relative, that's actually pretty good.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to recent years, man, we were just in a period where Josh Palmer got $12 million. Like,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And paid, but yeah.
And by the way, like the NFC East Hard Knocks, in-season Hard Knocks, I believe begins this week or next week, and I can't wait. Only because like Pickens is still out here doing like clearly not listening to anyone, like does not care about the coaches, the organization. He's still just being George Pickens, except he's been so good and they're winning that no one cares. It's the best.
I'm definitely going to tune in for that.
I think Pierce will end up getting tagged too. He would be a perfect dude for Josh Allen though. Like that'd be the most
So-
beautiful Josh Allen player.
You got to pay the average, the average of the top 5 paid receivers. Is that correct? I think that's what you have to do. Is that
Yeah,
is that
for
right?
the tag. Yeah, for the tag.
That's not a lot for Pierce. I mean, it's 1 year, obviously. You know, you're not fully committed, that kind of thing. So that's the pro, but maybe they will. Yeah, that's a story to watch in the offseason. Okay, third game on the list: Rams, Arizona. Arizona getting 7.5 here at home. 48.5 is the total. I was looking at Cardi's the Blitz. I think this is the game that was projected for the most plays. It's also indoors on the turf, which we like this time of year. We're not sure about Marvin. Marvin Harrison came back last week, was playing well, and he got hurt again. I believe it's his heel. Not practicing just yet on a Wednesday night, but something to monitor. Also, Trey Benson, maybe this is the week, unless I've not seen anything. No, it's already not happening.
No, it seems pretty doubtful that we're going to see him the rest of the year.
Oh, this is not even just for week 14. You think he just might be?
Well, they only have 7 days left. If he's not activated this week, he's done.
Okay, didn't know that. That's worth knowing. Okay, Daigle, start us off wherever you'd like as far as the Cardinals and the Rams.
Another volatile and interesting division game, just because look at what Jacoby Brissett has done, and Rich alluded to it, how he's just getting volume and bad, and that's been true. It's been 40-plus pass attempts now in 4 consecutive games. He's hit the bonus over 300 yards and 3 consecutive in that time. But also, you look at the matchups, too, against the Niners, the Jaguars secondary we talked about, the injured Bucs secondary that he got there last week. And now this is his toughest test since he really failed whenever the Arizona went down on that Sunday night game. I believe it was 28-0 in the first half, and he only finished with 250 yards and a couple touchdowns. Like, this is the toughest game since then, as if you look at every advanced metric in terms of the passing defense. The Rams have been somewhat of a roller coaster, including Bryce Young, who is also a roller coaster. Silva, by the way, after that game, texted me that no team is good in the NFL. Like, just the most unpredictable sport. No team is actually good this year. Hence why the Panthers can randomly win and dunk on Matthew Stafford, the former MVP, before that game. But Bryce Young popped up with 22 points. Mac Jones popped up with 23 points a couple weeks before that. So, yeah, they've been all over the place. But all their advanced metrics suggest they're still the best team in the league. Both on offense and defense. Far better projecting the NFC than the Eagles. And so I do think it's just a flimsy one where Brissett is going to get volume, but can he get there on a volume against an elite passing defense? Again, the best he sends in Seattle. And they're going to have the best iteration out there, at least. It seems like Marvin Harrison Jr. is trending towards being out, which puts us back into Michael Wilson as a full-time player. Since last week, he was not that until MSJ got injured in the second half. And so, yeah, it's questionable. But I wonder how many people, I don't know what the ownership you have, I wonder how many people will get to Brissett in this spot that could still be perceived by the public as tougher.
Let's see. What do we currently have Brissett? We got him at 3% right now in DK, which is kind of surprising just because of how good he's been of late. Just every single week, you essentially plug and play, more or less. Rich, your thoughts as far as this Arizona offense?
Yeah, I mean, he just keeps getting away with it, man. Every week, because you get the bonus. He now is tied with Dak for the most 300-yard passing games. He threw another 40 passes on Sunday, like Daigle said. Since taking over the starter, he averages 49 dropbacks, 43 pass attempts per game. And it's funny because you shouldn't he's barely getting there. Like, he hasn't even thrown more than 2 touchdown passes in any game. Like, it's just he's just getting you to back end QB1 production, but he's been a value because his price really hasn't gone crazy. Mm-hmm. He's a lot more expensive on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. I think on DraftKings he's still under 6,000, right?
5,800.
Yeah.
And
he's still hanging around he's kind of okay still at his price where you're okay for him just hitting the bonus and throwing multiple passing touchdowns. But it's the way he's getting there that still we know isn't sustainable. He hasn't thrown a first half passing touchdown since week 9. He scored 4.5 fantasy points per game in the first half of the games the past 4 weeks between Geno Smith and Cam Ward. Eventually, he's not going to get out of a hole. He keeps getting himself out of the hole with the volume, but we know from the years of playing through garbage time, garbage time largely is a myth. Eventually it catches up. If you play bad, you tend to play bad you're going to have a game where it just stretches and plays bad. And maybe Rams on the docket, Texans next week, maybe this is the period where we don't see him completely get out of these holes. But if you're throwing the ball 40 times a game and you're functional, You're still getting there. Like Daigle said, we saw Mac Jones get the 300 passing yards twice against the Rams. Bryce Young had a couple of the fourth down passing touchdowns that really kind of boosted his production too. So it's like he could still get there. It's one of these things though, like I'm kind of entrenched in like he can't keep living this way. So like I'm just like fighting it like tooth and nail, and he keeps getting there this way.
Well, like 5,700. I was off by 100, but the point still stands. Rich, word association. I say garbage time quarterback. You say
Blake Bortles.
That's who I was going to say. Yes, Bortles Combat. There you go. We match. We'll be good partners in match game, apparently. Daigle, you have somebody else? Would it not be Blake Bortles?
Garbage time king. Detroit Matthew Stafford.
That's a good answer, too. I like that answer. It's very good. All right. Let's talk about the Rams. Rich, what do you have in the Rams?
Yeah, I still think that going back to Stafford is cool here. I mean, just the 3 turnovers were the undoing last year. The Rams punted the ball one time. They had a league-high yards per play last week. They were moving the ball up and down the field kind of regularly, and all 3 turnovers were like critical. I obviously had the tipped ball at the line of scrimmage that goes into the end zone. It's picked off, which could have been a potential touchdown. He threw the pick 6. That was like his legitimately one bad play. And then the strip sack at the end of the game when they were already in field goal range to tie the game. Massive swing, like in terms of like EPA or like win probability, all that stuff. But Stafford was still really good in that game, and he's still been just as hot as like ever. So it's an interesting matchup because Jonathan Gannon has given him some problems before. You know, the whole Arizona like system is predicated on just like not giving up big plays, like being good against play action, and they have been that. But this is still a team that I believe is like just finishing out a string at this point. And even you see like Jonathan Gannon's demeanor, like when they asked him today about Marvin Harrison Jr., like the dude couldn't be more like kind of checked out and like done with this stuff at this point of the season. Like they know they're absolutely cooked. And like these teams were at that point of the season around Christmas time and the holidays. You don't know what you're going to get out of these teams that are just like it's curtains for like these guys. And it's probably going to be telling to see how Arizona performs down this backstretch for, you know, maybe how Arizona feels internally about Jonathan Gannon moving forward. So let's see if they put up some fight at home against division rival in a matchup where Sean McVay has dominated this matchup. Rams are 14-3 against Arizona under Sean McVay, 3-1 against Jonathan Gannon. But I'm completely fine going back to the Rams passing game, which you obviously have difficulty stacking because everyone is super expensive.
Yeah, and you play Puka, and Devontae gets every 2-yard touchdown catch. But Devontae doesn't get a lot outside of that. So, I mean, it's sort of tricky. Both are certainly in play, obviously. Gannon getting fired, right? Almost definitely. Like he's lame duck? Or we don't know. Yeah.
You think so? I wouldn't think so.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know what his contract situation is. Is this his first year or second year? I don't recall.
No, didn't he get hired in the pandemic?
Oh,
am I wrong about that?
Okay, so maybe I'm all right.
This is his 3rd season.
Third season. Okay, yeah.
Okay, we'll see if he sticks around.
I assume that they're probably going to do a significant overhaul with personnel because remember, this was the week they could have activated Kyler Murray, and they didn't even like. They immediately on Monday were like, "Nope, not happening."
Yeah, we're not seeing him in a Cardinals uniform again.
Really? Okay.
That would be my guess.
Well, aren't they on the hook for like a? I mean, I know it's not all guaranteed,
it's
like
all
50 or so.
We've seen teams are willing to just eat the sunk cost now.
The Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford deal. Once that happened, then all bets are off. Like cap doesn't mean anything.
Tua. I would be surprised
if find somebody else. You got what was the other team's version of Murray? Tua.
Tua.
that could work. I suppose that could work.
Yeah,
they're asking about Brissett next year. I think Brissett actually signed his 2-year deal. So I think Brissett is signed for next season. So he's probably we'll see. I don't know if he's plan A or not, but if nothing else, he's a good backup plan, I suppose. Sorry, I derailed the conversation. I don't recall. Did you give everything as far as?
No, I'm just and we can't even you can't even play Kyron Williams right now, which is a good matchup because they've openly talked about like they're kind of like limiting his workload down the stretch. We've seen a ton of Blake Corum, and this is another one where it's like not compartmentalized. They're just like, you just go and play right now, Blake Corum. You just do the same. He comes in. He's coming in the goal line 3 different games over the past month. So it's a really good matchup. Arizona's really bleeding out defensively against the run. They've been getting smoked by backfields, but we can't even trust the workload here for any of these guys.
That's how I feel too. Didn't Kyron get dinged last week too? I think he came back. But
he came back. He had an ankle and then came back in the second half and then outsnapped Corum 17-2 in the second half. Like it's just Plus the Rams are a big like incentive team. They've always been a team like they're trying to boost this MVP.
Is that in part why we're getting the 2-yard touchdowns to Devontae Adams?
I think so, man. I think part of it, like they're a big like they were always remember like 2 years ago. Like they rested everyone, brought Puka in to get the receiving record, and got him out of the game. Like McVay's always taking care of his guys. I feel like they're really pushing for Stafford to lock this thing down.
I do think at least in large field, extremely large field, you can get a little bit cute with Stafford though. This is what I did last week, and it was going great until the Rams were the inverse of the Ravens, where like the Ravens were bad and had wacky turnovers. The Rams, as Reeves said, they were amazing, but had crazy turnovers, but they were still moving the ball. I thought I was in great position with Puka, Devonta, and Colby Parkinson in the first half. And Parkinson's one you could play honestly if you're just trying to spin down. He's now been targeted on 26% of his routes since Tyler Higbee got put on injured reserve. If you look at the raw route rate, it's not going to be good. It's not going to rival like elite tight ends, but he's still playing with an MVP candidate in a high passing offense, which naturally makes him a good large field cheapie punt at the position. And then also Tutu Atwell's coming back. And again, that's super large field, but if he's going to be at full strength, and I believe he even practiced full today, like that's a guy they'll get out there to be their third wide receiver in place of Xavier Smith. And it only takes one catch if you're looking to spin down and beat Pat Bryant in your stacks.
I was going to say he's 3-3. Yeah, that's
all we're doing this week is trying to beat Pat Bryant.
That's an interesting angle. Yeah. And do you assume he's going to be basically full throttle if he's back, he's back? Are they going to ease him in, or it's just some guesswork?
It's a little bit of guesswork, but it's also reminiscent to the time where we were all spending down for cheap wide receivers, and Tyquan Thornton was the only one to get there because it only takes one catch on 15 routes for that type of player to get to score and return value.
All right. Anything else here, boys, as far as game 3, Rams, Arizona?
Well, Trey McBride's in this game.
Should we talk about him?
He's super expensive. I wedged him in a few spots. It's getting really hard to play him, especially on FanDuel, where he's 80. I think he's 8,600 over there now. He is getting absorbent because a tight end's like the first position you cut for like money, But I mean, he's running 45. We talk about Brissett's volume, like this is why McBride's getting there. Like he's running 45 pass routes per game. Like only Jamar Chase is running more routes than him. It's crazy. I mean, since Brissett's been starting, he's 6th among all players in fantasy points. So it's like he still is worth it. I think I'm glad they jacked his price up, but he keeps getting there at a salary. And the second Harrison left the field last week, he immediately jumped to 36% of the team targets.
So if Harrison doesn't go, you'll like him more, obviously. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This is going to change. We got 3% right now on McBride for both.
He's
he's
on a tight slate. Like that's the first position people don't pay up for.
Or you go double tight end. Just find a way to get McBride more than 3%. No.
Yeah, I mean he's better than some of these wide receivers up here. But
yeah,
it's tough. It is tough because the matchup. Like I said, we're waiting for the shoe to drop. I think. And like I said, maybe it's Rams, Texans the next 2 weeks where we actually get a game where just like the Cardinals get mushed. Like they've been on the trajectory to get mushed at least this last month. And they just keep finding a way. But maybe we're due for this stretch here, and that's when McBride doesn't get there. But he's running pretty pure right now.
No Kittle, tough matchup for Brock. For the Raiders.
Maybe we just saw Zach Ertz go for 100 yards on the Broncos.
Okay.
But he also is attached to Geno Smith, so.
And you can't even play like Bam Knight. I mean, I guess you can if you want to spin down a cheap running back, but Margie Mercado returned to practice limited basis today. Not to mention, it's still been a roller coaster with Michael Carter getting passing game usage. So Knight would be one of those guys that he has to fall forward for 2 touchdowns, which he can do. He's been to RB14, the RB16 in fantasy the past 2 games, but it's just starting to get a lot thinner, especially in this kind of game script.
And I don't expect this backfield to have the success the Panthers backfield had a week ago. Because we've seen that Panthers backfield over the course of the season have spike weeks. Like that's a talented group. I mean, like the Rams are a really good defense. Expecting these guys to kind of replicate what the Panthers did, I think is definite stretch.
By the way, Rich, I don't know if you looked. Well, we have one of your favorites that's popping at tight end. We'll talk about it later on, but somebody you talked about earlier in the year that really, really cheap tight end. That's
Big Daddy. Darn. I just don't understand how they don't run a screen pass to that dude every quarter. Like once a quarter, we run a Darnell Washington screen. Did you see last week he got the ball in space again and just bounced the dude? He just bounced the dude off of. Like, how do you tackle that guy?
I don't know. I don't know how you tackle him.
I'm surprised he's ever been tackled, to be honest. I don't know how.
Seven catches, 7 touchdowns. Like that's.
Speaking of being in December and week 14, you also know we're at the end of the year when Aaron Rodgers is back on his bullshit and calling out teammates in front of the media.
Dude, that whole game was amazing. Like the second he had that strip sack, the look in his eyes was just like it was full Murtaugh. Like
I saw he turned 42 this week, I believe. So happy birthday to
Aaron Rodgers and John Daigle.
Yeah, dude, his nose was bloody. His beard was looking extra gray. The look at like a soul left his eyes. Like he was just like, oh my god, what am I doing right now?
In case you needed proof that astrology is real, happy birthday, same time. I don't know if it's the same exact day, but close enough. Daigle and Aaron Rodgers. Okay, let's circle back and give our favorite plays position by position. I do want to tell you about RG's 3-day promo pass. If you want to try out our NFL DFS tools, you do not want to make a full season commitment. For a limited time, you get half off a 3-day NFL pass, access to everything you need to crush the slate, the optimizer tool, lineup HQ, packed with player projections, ownership projections, much more. You also get SimLabs NFL, the easiest way to build smart competitive lineups with just a few clicks. All that, much, much more, less than $10, $9.99. Do not miss out on a chance to grab that. Go check out the description on the YouTube. Get the link for it. Also, hit the like button while you're on YouTube and make a comment. Let us know how what's on your mind. Sure. And again, you got to wish Daigle a happy birthday, if nothing else. Okay, Daigle, you're going to give us. You said there's 3 quarterbacks in total, I believe, you're interested in on this slate. So I'm guessing this list is not very long. But all right, we might have already talked about at least 4 of them, possibly 2.
It's 4. It's 4 total for me. We talked about 3 of them.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, and Matthew Stafford. And the only other one that I have no faith in whatsoever, but I just try to throw out who I can envision playing this early if things break right. And we'll see what happens with their injury report. And at least the stack, I think, is also clear that if they come back at full strength, Baker Mayfield against the Saints, even though he's been completely miserable, Saints are still a team that ranked 26th in pressure rate created. Baker Mayfield, 13 touchdowns from a clean pocket this year. He's been bad the last month or from a clean pocket, but also I think that's been because you look up and you see Chris Godwin gone, Mike Evans injured. Not sure if Mike Evans is even going to play this week, but regardless, I do think it's a cleaner spot given that the Saints, the last 3 weeks when they played improved pass defense, it was against Bryce Young, Kirk Cousins, and Tua. Before that, Matthew Stafford threw 4 touchdowns against them.
Mike Evans needs 860 yards.
Don't count him out.
Don't rule it out.
Tell me there's a chance. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure whenever the season ends for the Bucs, we're gonna get like word that Baker Mayfield's having like 4 different surgeries.
Yep.
It does seem that way. Yes. 100%. But he's the guy, he's got the dog in him.
Oh yeah, he's
the guy. Baker Mayfield does have the dog in him.
Wolverine, man, the adamantium, dude. Like,
who's left for you, Rich, as far as quarterbacks?
I really like Sam Darnold this week.
Okay.
The Atlanta Falcons play single high safeties at 65% of their snaps, second highest rate in the league. Darnold leads the NFL fantasy points per dropback against single high looks. 9.6 yards per pass attempt, has 12 touchdowns. Also, Atlanta blitzes at a super high rate, second in the league. Darnold does have a high interception rate against the blitz because he's Sam Darnold, but he also has a high touchdown rate and 10 yards per pass attempt against the blitz as well. If you thought Adonai Mitchell getting over for 100 yards against the Falcons was, what do you see what JSN does after having his first stud of the year? So I do like Sam Darnold a lot on this slate.
Is that end of list?
No, I think there's a couple other guys. I think Jordan Love is mildly interesting. He's definitely a very boomer bust, but the Bears are a very boomer bust pass defense. You look at the Bears, like when they They lead the NFL in interception rate. They get a lot of turnovers, but when they don't get turnovers, they're also pretty bad. They also are like 26 in completion rate, 27 yards per. They also play a lot of man coverage, and they play a lot of man coverage with Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon back last week. And we saw last week, like against the Lions, like that's still Jordan Love's kind of where he has success. He's been his best against man coverage. He's 8th in yards passing to man coverage, 4th in touchdown rate. He threw 3 of his 4 passing touchdowns on Thanksgiving against man coverage. So he's like very volatile. He'd be more of like a single entry guy too, but I do think he's in play. And then I also think you can go back to Tyrod. I know it feels like chasing points, but the Miami Dolphins have a lot of QB1 scorer in 4 straight games. The last 2 have been Marcus Mariota, or how does Collinsworth want us to say it? Mariota. And Tyler Shuck last week too. And the Dolphins are 30th in rushing points allowed per game to quarterbacks as well. The Jets have had a lot more faith in Tyrod Taylor. Like they have a 66% drop back rate with Taylor in his 3 starts compared to a 54% drop back rate with Justin Fields. In neutral game scripts, the 62% drop back rate came to 49% in Justin Fields. So I don't know what kind of ceiling you have is the problem with a guy like Tyrod, but like I actually don't think I would even stack him this week. I think if he would be like just like to fit in like other high price pieces like a JSN with James Cook type of deal, but I don't think it's necessarily a point chasing to go back to him this week.
I mean, it's not necessarily like his ceiling; it's just what he helps get you, like you said.
Yeah, correct.
Like you're not rostering him because you love him necessarily. You're rostering him because you love the guys he helps you get.
Last week, I think the slate made sense to kind of stack the cheap quarterbacks. Like if you did Chuck, if you Ward struck out, but Taylor. But this week, I think like if you're going to play a cheap quarterback, I think you more or less would just do it to wedge in other good plays instead of try to bring guys along the ride for them.
Who was your favorite pass catcher with Love for Green Bay?
Oh, Watson for sure.
Watson,
And I assume Watson's going to be mega popular on the slate, given his cost and like how hot he's running. And he is the man coverage guy. So I assume Watson's going to be really chalky.
We currently don't have him that high, but I think that's wrong.
Okay.
I think we have him at 12%, but again, it's Wednesday. It's not going to be at his most accurate right now. So,
he's, I think out of the mid-range guys, he's probably like the largest standout.
I'm just got Pittman is 5.4.
I like both. Like I said, I like both Colts in that range.
80 Mitchell is still mid 4K or high 4K, right?
Mitchell's 4.6. Pierce is 5.1.
I'll still pay. I know you said you don't need a stacking partner, but I still think Mitchell's a really good play.
I think there's a more of a signal for Mechie this week than there is for Mitchell. And last week we talked about Mitchell on the show on Thanksgiving. But because again, we talk about the Falcons, the single high stuff, like that's where you want the lid lifter, the outside target against single high. That's why we wanted 80 Mitchell. But the Dolphins are like a super 2 high team, a lot of coverage, and they blitz a lot. So that's John Mechie's bag. He against 2 high stuff, and it's very small sample stuff because the Jets have only played a couple games, but he has a 33% target share against the 2 high coverages. So I would say more like Mechie, but he'd be DraftKings only. Like you cannot play him on FanDuel because that dude is averaging 5.2 air yards per target. So like, and he's not Rashee Rice. There's only a couple guys can get away with this. And it's Rashee Rice and Deebo Samuel, and that ain't John Mechie's game.
18 catches for 150 yards. So last week he was 3.8, and he had 4 catches for 19 yards, 5.7 fantasy points, 3.8, and now he's 4.5. And I guess he just gets priced up because people played him, even though he didn't play well. I don't know how that works.
I'm glad that 80 Mitchell won people a bunch of money.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, in the Martingale finally got there. Yeah, I know we talked about him last week. And I do agree with Daigle. I think he's still playable. Other receivers, Daigle, start us off. Who have we not talked about as far as receivers that we like on this slate?
Wait, do we want to start at running back?
Oh, yeah. Why did I skip running back? Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah, it's all good. A few running backs. I think it's actually a really good running back slate. We'll start with the obvious ones.
That's the season. It's very good running back season compared to receivers.
I think it's a good running back 2025. So let's start with the obvious one in Devon Achane. The Jets just gave up 250 yards and 2 touchdowns to the Falcons running backs. And now here comes Devon Achane, who profiles like Bijan. Let's start there. Bucky Irving. Didn't see him till week 4. Was AI as far as I was concerned. Didn't think we'd see him again. He comes back. He out touches Rachaad White 19-5. zero remorse for his health. So let's get him right back in there as an every down running back, especially a pass catching running back as well. Super cheap, but I think the game script, at least Vegas thinks so, because the Commanders were dogs in the look ahead, and then they flipped to favorites now. And Chris Rodriguez is super cheap, 4,700 on DraftKings. Yeah, you need a touchdown, but again, 4,700 is just something I'll take on, believing we're going to get positive game script here. He's out carried Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt 26-13 the last couple games around the bye as well. And I think we're going to get positive game script because JJ McCarthy's on the other side. And finally, Josh Jacobs. Reeves said love, and I get it, but I also think Josh Jacobs is perfectly fine if the Packers want to play like a divisional game that way. Saquon Barkley didn't have success, but around there, the Bears are still a defense that you can run on with ease. And Jacobs, despite coming back from the calf injury, still, like Bucky Irving, out-touched Emmanuel Wilson significantly as their every down workhorse.
I must have saw a weird account on Jacobs. I guess he's fine. I don't know. I saw somebody tweet out something that he was dealing with an injury, but
he could have been limited today. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'll assume he's fine though. Yeah, I didn't mean to put that out there.
I just
a
think
lot of guys are resting this time of year, of course.
Yeah, I think with his status, what he's gone through the last couple months, he's gonna be on the injury report every week. But then also, like last week against the Lions, this game is too big. It's the first place Bears. He's going to play and he's going to get every touch.
That matters. I think that's a good point because I think that he probably gets a little bit more in the games that are more prioritized, and it definitely feels like a game that's prioritized this week. I like that point for Jake.
And it sounds weird to say. That's why I like to say it out loud. The first place Bears. What a world we live in.
What's the mood like when you walk outside? Is everybody in a good mood in Chicago?
Oh, dude, the watch parties now. Before everyone wanted to watch the Bears, but now every single bar you walk the streets has flyers because everyone wants to host a watch party, especially this week against the Packers. This is the first time they're going to play the Packers this year, so this is huge.
Do you partake or you're not into that kind of scene?
Actually, I think I'm going to a watch party Sunday. It's a big game.
There you go.
And it's fun. Caleb Williams is not doing he hasn't been good in terms of fantasy, maybe even quarterbacking, but he's doing enough. He's playing well enough to help them win. And also, if you look at the plays, you watch the tape, Ben Johnson, what he's scheming is still absolutely brilliant. It's just completely different than what he did with Detroit because he has different personnel because he's a genius like that. He's just taking what he got in the offseason, and it's working out so far.
I mean, it's very rare you see Vic Fangio get put in a cage, and Ben Johnson had – I mean, the gap right guard runs, man, they were just murdering them over and over.
And there were 3 players moving before those runs to throw off the scent of which gap they were going to hit. It's just Ben Johnson doing Ben Johnson, man.
They were just cooking, man.
Did both running backs hit over 100 yards?
And a touchdown.
It was the most yards against a Fangio defense since 2005.
It was the first time the Bears had 200-yard running backs since their Super Bowl season.
Most since the Jaguars lost at home to the Colts. Is that 2005 as well?
Yeah.
I remember that stat correctly.
Yeah.
That's pretty well. Hribar. Who's left for you?
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, Jacobs is a good shot too because he scored. Home game if the script goes off implied, he scored in every home game. Interesting enough for DFS stuff, he hasn't hit the bonus yet. He has no 100-yard rushing games. And the Bears haven't had a 100-yard rusher since week 4. So you definitely need Tuds with him. A-Chan will be chalk again, I'm pretty sure. Is he the most popular running back?
I think so, yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he will be. He'll be there. Quinshon Judkins, not a fun play ever, but he's been an RB1 in every Cleveland win this season. If the Browns are going to win a game, we know what the hell they're going to do. They're going to run the ball a bunch of times.
Defense and run.
He might have 2.5 yards per carry, but he might run it 30 times. Also, if Dylan Sampson misses this game, that's a little bit more of a boost for him too. So it's gross. I like the Bucky Irving shout too. We're playing James Cook. We're playing A-Chan. I don't think we're getting real cute with a lot of other guys down here.
And that's why I don't think I'm going to get to JT, as we talked about earlier for the matchup. And then also Richie Smalls, who's in the chat every single week with us, asked about RJ Harvey. Don't think I'm going to get there either, just because of the other options we have around him. I don't know if it'll be chalk. I think it will be popular, and it's fine. I think it's a fine matchup. But honestly, like, we haven't got the usage we want from him. He's still getting 60% of their carries the last couple games without J.K. Dobbins, because Jaleel McLaughlin is randomly getting mixed in. Tyler Bidet has ran more routes than Harvey in both games so far without Dobbins. So it's actually like flimsy usage that he really needed that touchdown second one in overtime to get there.
Is it Bidet? It's not Batty? I don't know what
it's Bidet.
It's Bidet.
Bidet, man.
Yeah.
I like that too. Either way works for me. It just, thank you for the clarification. I didn't know. What do you got, Rich? You're saying something.
I was gonna say, well, you got to be good to keep warning touches, unless you're Travion Henderson, and like that's RJ Harvey's problem right now is he's not a very good football player, and like maybe he will be, and like the Broncos are going to need him to be at some point.
Yeah.
So that's why they probably will have to keep seeing this through. But I mean, out of 55 running backs at 50 or more runs, he's 53rd in success rate. He's 54th in explosive run rate. He's running into heavier boxes now at J.K. Dobbins out, which is like never his game, because remember, this is a Gus Malzahn running back. Like these guys these guys were running through tarmacs in college. Like they didn't have any resistance. And it was littered in RJ Harvey's profile that inside runs and like creating yards after contact were going to be a problem for him. And it's been a huge problem for him so far in the NFL in his early sample. But yeah, like Daigle said, the usage hasn't been there. I think he's going to pop in Sims, though, at his cost. They're favorites. We just saw Kamani Vidal have a bunch of yards against the Raiders. So I do think he's going to end up being relatively popular in the Sims. And maybe this is a spot where they can get ahead and just like say, you know what, we don't even care if you suck. We're just going to give you a bunch of carries because we want you to just try to work through some shit.
I don't watch a ton of college football, but I watched UCF football. At least not so much this year. They kind of fell off pretty quickly, but we were up 14-0 versus BYU last week. Don't ask me how it ended, but I did watch a lot of RJ Harvey beat up on some terrible teams. And yeah, I didn't know he was going to be like a second round pick when I'm like, this guy.
I don't think a lot of people did,
but he still stood out as like, this guy looks pretty legit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, he's an explosive player. Like he's definitely like if you get him in space, like he was explosive.
He was explosive in college too. That was the calling card.
But I mean, you can never trust these guys that Sean McVay sells the bag for, because every one of these guys has been pretty sketchy, right? Like this guy traded his whole draft class one time for Adam Troutman. He traded a slew of picks to get Marvin Mims and just not play him. Like you can't trust Sean Payton.
He called Evan Ingram the Joker all season, only to run him in a rotation this entire year when he's been available. He said Pat Bryant
is Michael Thomas. Yeah,
is Michael Thomas this offseason. Yeah.
What was the Adam Troutman trade? There's a big trade for Adam Troutman.
In the draft, when they drafted him, they traded the whole rest of their draft to get up to take Adam Troutman when he was at the Saints.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that, but okay.
From Ashland University, where my wife graduated from.
Shout out to Ashland. What are they? What's Ashland? What Warriors? What are they called?
Oh, what are they? I do know what they are, and I forget. She's gonna kill me.
Oh boy! I hope she doesn't listen to the show.
Yeah. Also, shout out my wife. Yesterday was our 19th wedding anniversary.
Oh, shout out to both of you! Congratulations. Receivers, Rich, start us off.
Wide receivers. Well, we just hinted. I started with Darnold, so like I do think it's a big bounce back spot for JSN. He has a 37% first read target share against single high safeties, almost 4 yards per out run. So like I expect him to have a pretty big bounce back spot. Daigle brought up Baker. I kind of want one more week to to at least throw one more dart at Emeka Egbuka, and that's only if all the guys are out again. So like the thing is Emeka Egbuka is still getting like a ton of usage. It's just like his production dip completely overlapped Mayfield being bad. So if Daigle doesn't believe Mayfield's going to be bad this week or has a path to not be bad, then it should be a signal for Egbuka has 8 or more targets in 6 straight games. He has 30% of the team's targets over the past 6 weeks. The problem is 25% of his targets have been inaccurate. Before this stretch, when Baker was healthy, he only had 11% inaccurate target rate. Something similar has happened to Rome Odunze too, where like he's like a 26% inaccurate target like during his downswing. But Egbuka's the wide receiver 5 in expected points still, whereas like Odunze's like now, like since the bye, because the Bears are so run heavy, like the wide receiver 24 in expected points. But Egbuka's still a top. He's like still like from projections where he should be still operating as a top 5 wide receiver. And now we're getting him in a little price dip. Like I think he's down to low 6s now. So he would only be a tournament play for me, but the matchup's really good. Like Daigle said, if we believe Baker has like one healthy run out for him, I think he's a pretty solid tournament dart. And then we brought up Christian Watson too as well.
This is where I get tilted. Egbuka, week 11, 7-2, 9 fantasy points, 6-7, week 12, 6 fantasy points, 6-5, week 13, 8 fantasy points. And, why use the same energy to raise the prices that you do to lower the prices. It's all I want. Treat it like a stock market. He's 6'3", and he hasn't been close to paying off 6'3" in a month. Adjust the prices accordingly. By the way,
are you going to play some 6'9" Justin Jefferson?
Well, he should be cheaper, to be fair.
The field 100% will. The field is going to be all over 6'9" Justin Jefferson.
Is that 100 making doing a lot of work because the 7? Now it's down to 6. I know a lot of people are just using their optimizers and things like that, but that's probably the cheapest we've seen Justin Jefferson, and
has to be.
I don't know.
I saw someone tweet it, right? That it was like the cheapest since his rookie year or something.
I'm gonna say since he played behind Olabisi Johnson, has to be.
The Ashland Eagles, by the way. Yeah. Is it Tuffy? Tuffy the Eagle is the mascot.
Tuffy the Eagle.
Shout out Tuffy. Daigle receivers. What do you got? Are you playing Justin Jefferson?
I am not. But I mean, we've tried the JJ McCarthy cash game route before, and it ended as every JJ McCarthy's ended so far, which is, I mean, that's not. I trust Stan Quinn, and Commanders are still a team generating a top 3 pressure rate, so I don't think it's a good matchup, honestly. But I mentioned AD Mitchell. I'll still play AD Mitchell, just believing that, when you see a guy lead the team in routes run, develop a rapport, his target share has increased in every game, including 39% last week. I think a mid 4K is totally fine still. Terry McLaurin, I mentioned Chris Rodriguez, but Terry McLaurin I think is more palatable. Could be ugly for Marcus Mariota. We don't know if we're going to get Jaden Daniels, although I don't think we're going to. But either way, Terry McLaurin actually, first game back, only a 58% route rate, but was targeted on 44% of those routes, led the league. A shocking performance. And so I will go back to him, and then sticking in that ever so exciting Bucs Saints game. I also think Chris Olave is interesting. The Bucs have allowed the 6th most receiving yards to wide receiver ones. Devon Vele popped up last week for a career high in receiving yards. I believe only because Chris Olave was truly questionable. I thought he was out as of Saturday night, but he played through, scored a long touchdown, whatever. But if we think we're going to get him back at full strength here, he's clearly still the alpha for the Saints.
8 targets for Vele. That's got to be the most he's had all season long, right? Yeah, he had 7 the previous game.
My Sunday chat, we cooked up an anytime, and we had a Vele anytime.
Ooh, what were the odds?
Plus 240, something like that.
The Saturday night snow tinkering. I had some Jalen Coker, Devon Vele throwing out there. It's like, well, if everyone's spending down for this one guy I don't want to spend down for, I'm going to spend down in my stacks instead.
Any other receivers we want to note, or shall we jump to tight end?
That's all.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, McLaurin, the price is good. I'll say be careful with him chasing that, just because the Vikings are number 1 in double coverage rate on the outside. They haven't even allowed a touchdown to a wide receiver in the past month. They had Sam Darnold in absolute hell, and they talked about, and JSN talked about after the game, like he was like, dude, like there was no way they could get me the football, like so. Debo doesn't command that kind of attention. So just like I said, the price, I think people are going to chase a lot of him. So, I mean, the price is fine, in the upside. It's still a good player at a really cheap price. So it's hard to really push back on that dart throw, but just, yeah, anytime you hold Jack Smith and Jigba to 23 yards, I'm going under the hood and seeing why this happened. Then I'm looking at their past month and just this defense has been awesome. It's that just quarterback play has absolutely ruined this team.
Yeah. You can't overvalue that for sure. It's been a complete disaster as far as the quarterbacks this year, no matter who it was for Minnesota. Can Debo take advantage of that? You mentioned McLaurin. He's going to be probably seeing a lot of coverage. Is Debo somebody we can pivot to as a wide receiver too? Or we haven't seen a ceiling game out of him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the toughest part. I mean, I would say even if you get McLaurin at least offers you upside on a per target basis. The best of Debo came without McLaurin.
I also wonder what kind of ownership that entire game's going to have, which would naturally push me off of it. Because if JJ McCarthy is going to pop up in optimals as a cheap quarterback, if Justin Jefferson's going to get played at a cheap salary, I think it's going to be like last week where the Texans were in a lot of sims. And so naturally, you just kind of get off the Texans because like every player is popping, which means their ownership is going to flood into tournaments.
And also, since Dan Quinn has taken over play calling, like the Commanders have like been live on defense again.
Yep.
Like they're not good by any means. They've had too many injuries to be good, but they've put up a significantly better fight. Like we saw the 2 weeks ago, or not 2 weeks ago because they had a bye. The week before they were on bye when they played where'd they play? In Spain? I forget what that game was. I think it was in Spain.
That was the good Debo game, right? A couple weeks ago.
But they held Jalen Waddle to 50 yards. Cortland Sutton scored a touchdown last week, but only had 50 yards in the game too. Like in a game where Nick's got the 300, but he had 250 through 4 quarters and had 70 yards in the final drive with that 40-yard Evan Ingram catch. It's a bummer because the way you want to attack the Commanders is like pretty clear. Like Bobby Wagner can't move. And that's why Sean Payton dusted mid-game was like, holy shit, like they can't guard Evan Ingram. Like Evan Ingram's just faster than their linebackers.
Yeah.
But like, is TJ Hawkinson that dude? Like, that's the bummer because you want to attack the Washington
How fast
linebackers.
is he these days to TJ Hawkinson?
I don't know, man.
We haven't seen him. We don't know.
I feel Bobby Wagner's had an awesome career and is an awesome player, but like he just cannot move right now.
Hall of Famer, Bobby Wagner?
It's probably on the table, right? Like,
I don't know. And
just for being like a core of the Seattle defense, I think so.
And I would want to chase Jefferson if no one else was. Like, I feel like that people are just going to want to play Jefferson because they're going to see the green thing next to his name because the Commanders for the season have been bad. He's under 7K. And I just feel like if the field wants to keep going there, like I've got to not like we can't take on the guy that's been a bad play when he's going to be popular, right?
You're not supposed to. That's like DFS 101.
Like I want to run into the Justin Jefferson good game when no one else is playing it.
Yeah. Is he not? What is his price on FanDuel? I wonder if he's like they're not adjusting it as much. What's his FanDuel price? He's 8-1 over there. So
oh god, unplayable at 8-1.
FanDuel's out of their minds with some of their prices though. But okay, I mean he's certainly cheaper than JSN and Puka and Chase and Adams like he should be, but he's more expensive.
I mean there are 4, almost 5 9K running backs on FanDuel.
I know it's tough. It's
really hard. Like that's where people are going to play like RJ Harvey just because they're like it's a running back getting touches at 6K.
And that's why Genti at 6'8" is getting projected to hit some lineups.
And that's why I mentioned Chris Rodriguez.
And Walker, my nemesis, is 6'6", and of course I'm going to play him again. Maybe we'll see.
I mean, but because James Cook is 9'3", A-Chain's 9'2". Derrick Henry, if you want to get back on that, in the Denver days, was 8'7".
Yeah.
Even Josh Jacobs, who you want like 8'6" is a hefty price. Even Bucky Irving's 8K.
Yeah.
Like,
come on, what are we doing here? Is that the first Raven we've mentioned, Derrick Henry? I don't think Lamar didn't get. We acknowledged his existence, but didn't really say to play him. Zay didn't get a shout out. He did score last week, but
no, he's not allowed to score a touchdown again, Dean.
There must have been a penalty. So did somebody make something up?
Someone tweeted me when he got called back. I was like, he's never scoring again. They must, we talk about it on the show all the time.
It's against the rules. All right, tight end. Rich, lead us off for tight ends.
Tight ends. We talked about McBride. We talked about Buffalo tight end that plays.
Brenton Strange talked about.
We talked about Brenton Strange and Tyler Warren.
Yep.
The other two guys I have down here is Harold Fannin, another gross Brown.
That's the only one I have on my list.
It's like a 17-team total.
Never gonna get there, but in an alternate universe, he will.
He has a 26% target share with Shore Sanders, and he's completely just relegated David Njoku.
Yeah,
he's been on the field now 75% of the dropbacks, over 2 yards per outrun still too. So he's like still been efficient as well. And then the other guy I have down here that's kind of no fun to play, but if you're chasing touchdowns is Darren Waller. Wasn't restricted at all in his first game back. I thought maybe for a week, I thought we might see him eased in, but he was at 71% of the dropbacks. He still had a big play, another huge gain. We know he still potentially has touchdown equity. The Jets are 30th in touchdown rate allowed to tight ends. They're coming off a game where people were excited about Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts had the most yak of his career last week against the Jets. So Darren Waller, 60 yak yards for Kyle Pitts.
Good for him.
So Darren Waller I have down at the bottom too, but like after all of these other guys we talked about.
Waller was the only one to get an end zone target for the entire Dolphins team last week too, because that's what he does. There is a universe where Harold Fannin, Jalen Noel, and Luther Burden are playing every snap, and they're just rivaling JSN's numbers because that's how good they are, but they can't get on the field from their own. Well, Fannin can get on the field. He just plays with Shadur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel.
I mean, that's what makes the Bears so scary. And maybe Caleb never flips the switch and he's always in like the Trevor Lawrence zone where like he just shows you enough and never gets over the hump. But like their run game, which is filled with like veteran players, they brought in all the offensive linemen, like they're all young dudes except for DJ Moore, who I assume is not going to be a part of the roster like for the long term. But once Colston and Williams and Burden figure it out and Rome figure it out, like that's what makes them a scary team in terms of trajectory.
I was trying to see if Waller was still 4K. He was 4K in FanDuel last week, which was really useful. 5-1.
Yeah.
It's like that's a big difference. It's a huge difference. It doesn't mean you can't play him, but certainly it makes things tougher. How do we feel about the 44 as a number choice for Harold Fannin? It throws me off every time I see him. I feel like it's like a fullback or something out there. 44, we're good with that?
That's maybe it's a ruse, man. He's trying to get the defense, not to think about it.
Apparently that was his college number, I believe. So
his family was at the expo this year, and JJ Zacharyson, who probably a lot of people listen to us follow him, asked his mom about his son's feet, and she said she taught him to run that way so no one would know what direction he's running.
That's the hand in the dirt takes. I love it. I can appreciate that. Daigle,
the Browns. Tyler Warren is 44 too.
Yeah. You know what?
He said he wears it for John Riggins, who was his dad's.
Hell yeah.
Was Dallas Clark 44 for Indy as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they didn't retire his number.
It's a solid tight end number, probably. I'm for it.
Okay, I'm not against it. I was just asking. But
if you're gonna wear 44, you gotta be a dude that can like create yak and like break tackles.
Yeah,
at least Fannin and Warren are those guys. So like you can't disrespect the 44.
No, we gotta have Darnell Washington getting number 44 for Pittsburgh. I don't know. I think he's in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. But who's left? Who's left, Daigle, as far as tight ends?
Now, Fannin was the only other one that we haven't talked about on my list that Rich just said. And again, I have it on my list understanding that it's a 33-point total, and he plays with Dylan Gabriel this week. So it's probably not the universe. This is not the year for Harold Fannin, but he's shown enough to where next year he's gonna rival for a top 3 tight end.
Listen, Deshaun Watson's coming back. What an organization. What an organization.
How much of a dope was I to play a little bit of Taysom Hill last week on DK? Was that a terrible idea? I mean, obviously it didn't work out.
Nah,
he was 2-7. What are you gonna do?
Him, Darren Waller, Colby Parkinson, and Fannin. Those and Britton Strange. Those were like the 5 cheapies I was around.
Yeah,
just because they were so dirt cheap.
I didn't end up playing him, but I saw like if it was 2-7, if you got a goal line carry, you were like whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I wanted to spin down on Neil.
Let's give the people our favorite stack on a Wednesday night before we segue to our movie. Again, hit that like button, do subscribe, turn on notifications. We will be pivoting, talking about movies shortly. If you're done with the football, we do appreciate y'all listening. Follow Hribar, LordReebs, Daigle, at NotJDaigle. Do support their work. Sharp Football, ETR. Hribar, give me your favorite stack on a Wednesday night.
The stack that we talked about, I like Daniel Jones, doubles. Don't really have a lot of pushback on your favorite way to attack it. My way would be probably Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman. But if you like Alec Pierce, I have no problem with that too. I might make 2 Daniel Jones lineups actually and just cover the bases. And then my favorite stack that we didn't talk about, or we talked about through positional plays, is Sam Darnold and JSN.
And do you have a favorite run back if you have the Indy stack on Jacksonville? Or you don't need it?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say probably reluctantly, if there's no Parker Washington, to just take a shot on BTJ. But if maybe Jacoby Myers, I need 72 hours or whatever, how many more hours we have to think about that.
Strange is okay too, right? Strange is fine.
If you could, I think that could be a double tight end lineup if you wanted to play around that way. What is Strange on DraftKings?
3.9.
Okay, so you
Pretty
could
fair.
do Warren and Strange
That's
on
fine.
DraftKings.
I think that's doable.
And you could still get JSN and Achan with that.
Yeah.
You would not be able to get Puka. I don't think you could.
No, you're not going to be able to do two
because Daniel Jones and the mid 5K receivers are too expensive still.
Mm-hmm.
Daigle, you got a stack for me?
Yeah, I'm not trying to play Price is Right, but Daniel Jones nukes is where I was leaning. Let's just play Pittman, Pierce, and Warren and run it back with Strange. That's exactly how I was viewing it as well. Again, just because I think getting leverage on JT is a really good idea on this slate, and then that eliminates one of the running backs. That way, just naturally you play the others. And I'll still throw a shout out to Baker, Bucky, Ibuka, and Olave.
Man, I respect your opinion so much, and I really don't like you guys both like Daniel Jones so much. Okay.
We're just trying to run it back. We're going to try the Cam Ward idea one more time, except this time with a quarterback who can't run.
Well, Dean, what it always comes back to me is that the Jaguars let 2025 Geno Smith throw 4 passing touchdowns against them, and that's what I just always go back to.
You know what? That's a good closing argument for sure. It's a great rebut. Sure.
Because 2025 Geno Smith has played some of the worst football I've seen a quarterback play in a year of bad quarterback play.
He's been pretty terrible. I mean, he's got a big contract, and he's another one that might just eat it and just move along.
How many sacks does he take on Sunday?
Well, what's the over under? Is there a number?
6.5.
Yeah, maybe. that seems like a pretty strong number versus Denver. 16.5 total is their team total on the board. Did they outscore Cleveland or no? They don't outscore Cleveland, right?
Who?
The Raiders.
This week?
Yes.
No.
Wait, Cleveland outscored.
No. Cleveland outscores the Raiders for sure this week.
Okay. Did they outscore the Titans? That's the more important question.
God.
6-all.
First touchdown.
I don't know. I tried to make the Titans cool last week, and I'm exhausted. Someone else has to pick up that torch.
Yeah, you didn't get $50K for it though.
I didn't get $50,000 for playing Cam Ward. I know that.
Yeah, shout out to Noto. He didn't need a quarterback. He had Cam Ward, and he still.
It never helps that all DK does is score punt return touchdowns. He doesn't. He doesn't get there through the air.
He was negative for a good part of that streak.
Yeah, Io Manor came back and it kind of really dunked on it.
When you watch Red Zone,
there is signal for him again this week if you could stomach it, but I just, like I said, someone else has to take that torch.
You don't need to do it again.
I know. Yeah, no, exhausted.
So I had way too much DK last week. I even had some Tennessee defense just kind of make stuff work. And you guys don't watch Red Zone, but when they go to Red Zone and they show a punt, something extreme is going to happen. So I'm like, come on, DK. And then, either he ran back a touchdown, ran to the 5, or he fumbled and, he fumbled. And that was, what a huge bummer.
By the way, the conversation this week was about Red Zone ads. Is it noticeable from your end?
No, it's really, I mean, they usually do picture in picture. It's 10 seconds. A lot of times it's not even audible. It's just a visual thing. It's fine. I'm not here to defend the Shield. And, they used to say nonstop, commercial free, whatever. Obviously, Hansen can't say that anymore, but it's fine. It's not that big a deal.
That's what I figured, because since, obviously Rich and I don't watch it. And so my only opinion I saw was Florio talking about it. But Florio also works for a different network. So, of course, he has a conflicting opinion on it. So I needed a neutral stance from someone watching it every Sunday. And I know that's what you do. And I know you didn't see Cam Ward last week.
It's not, he didn't. Did he get in the red zone?
That's exactly why you didn't see him at all.
Yeah, it's not evasive. It's really, assuming that it's not the start of it's going to, every single year it's going to get bumped up and bumped up. Assuming this is where they pump the brakes, it's fine. Not an issue. Okay, let's bring in TJ Zwarich. TJ Zwarich, of course, has been producing the show the entire time. We're going to be talking movies now. That's it for the football. Good luck for week 14. Go win something. Rob Coakley also coming in. Rob going to be coming in hot for sure because he's pumped. He won our movie giveaway. He's going to assign us a movie later on in the show. But we have to first talk about TJ's movie that he assigned to us, K-pop Demon Hunters. TJ, what's up? Welcome to the show. You've been here the whole time, but how are things?
Things are good. I got to admit, it's a little bit PTSD inducing doing football shows this week after just being a 1v1 with my defense off of the Millie Maker. But We're ready to-
What was the 1v1 for everyone?
I had the Chargers defense because I'm an idiot and I wanted to correlate with my running back Vidal instead of the Seahawks.
Great
and
play.
if I had the Seahawks, I would have taken down the Millie Maker by 3 points.
I didn't want to bring it up, TJ. I did mention you had a good week, and I didn't want to do that. I think it was too. I thought it might be too soon, but was.
How many times have you thought about it since then?
The 2 days after, like legitimately every 4 or 5 minutes.
Right.
And I hadn't thought of it today until we started the football show.
It was not a late swap thing either, right? It was like, this is my lineup.
No, it was. So I was debating the late swap. I was asking about it in chat.
There was no way I was
say,
answering
guys,
either.
what should I do? I got a Millie Maker sweat. Should I do this or this? And Dean says, anybody watching this Hofstra soccer game? It's in and I said, are you Dean? There's 4 minutes to lock. Help.
Dude, I saw you ask that in chat about the 2v2, and I was like, I cannot answer. I cannot like have me influence this type of sweat.
After making me watch this movie, I'm gonna send you that lineup in the leaderboard every day for the rest of your life.
TJ, I do want to clarify. I don't want to be that guy, but I did answer the question, and I did give you the correct answer.
Yeah, but there was about 20 seconds until lock at that point.
I was watching Hofstra Furman. My brother went to Furman. He was at the game. We were texting each other. It was an incredible game. There was 4 goals in extra time. They went to a shootout, and my brother's actually flying to Portland this week because they're now in the Elite 8? Shout out to Furman. Go Paladins. All right. TJ, let's talk about this week's movie. It is, but by the way, TJ, what place you end up getting? I don't mean to, where'd you end up landing?
Oh, not high. So I was the highest scoring lineup that did not have the Seahawks defense, but I think they ended up putting up over 30 points.
Yeah.
And so that lineup won $250.
And did not think it could get worse from McCarthy, but Max Prosper proved us all wrong.
I mean, what a ludicrous pick 6! Like, just amazing. Just like. It was like adjacent. You Dean, you've seen like the Gary Premium field goals. You're like, it was like that. Like the dude just threw it over his shoulder, like fuck it.
Well, my favorite part was Seattle intercepted the ball where they recovered a fumble and they tried to return it and they just fumbled it back just so they can get more defensive points. Like, here, take it back. We're going to steal it from you again and get more sacks. Like we need more fantasy points, and that's what happened. All right. And Minnesota could have kicked a field goal. They could have done that, like a 58-yarder, just to get on the board. No, they chose against that. All right. Let's do it. Let's talk about this week's movie. We've teased it a couple times. It is K-pop Demon Hunters. And you ask, what is K-pop Demon Hunters? Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you the synopsis. Here we go. The synopsis on Rotten Tomatoes. When they aren't selling out stadiums, K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoe use their secret identities as badass demon hunters to protect their fans from an ever-present supernatural threat. Together, they must face their biggest enemy yet, an irresistible rival boy band of demons in disguise. This is a PG movie. It came out just this year, 2025. You can watch it on Netflix. It is a quick watch, an hour and 39 minutes. By the way, it's described as kids and family, musical, comedy, action, fantasy, animation, and adventure. So it hits checks every possible search box. TJ, why did you pick K-pop Demon Hunters?
I knew that Rich and I have just been kind of strapped to this movie since it came out and just kind of forced to either hear it or see it a lot more than we probably would have wanted. And so it just felt wrong that you guys didn't get a chance to watch this movie when we've seen it so many times. But I was looking at it and it was one of the very first words my daughter remembered and associated with something was K-pop, because she always wanted to watch this on YouTube or watch it on Netflix or just listen to the music. And so even though this only came out a few months ago, the soundtrack was my most listened to album on Apple Music just because it's on in this house so damn often. I think it ended up watching it 4 times this week. At least not the whole movie, but portions of it 4 times this week, just because when she gets some screen time, it's what she wants on the screen. She's 20 months now. But we watched it the first time, my wife and I did, without our baby, just because we had heard that this was becoming like a worldwide sensation. It's Netflix's most watched movie ever. And so we wanted to check it out, and was just kind of surprising by it, how good of a movie it is.
Daigle, you started talking about this pre-show. You sort of halted yourself. You said you want to save it for this moment now. So your thoughts as far as K-pop Demon Hunters?
One question. Is this a band or is this AI?
They're real people.
Okay, because it sounds very much like AI music.
Oh,
which,
they auto-tuned the shit out of this. Like that's why it sucked, because they were, you could hear the layers of auto-tune on this.
That's why I thought it was AI, and that was going to frustrate me even more that I had to watch this movie. But I would say the first 15 minutes I got really checked out, or to where I'm like, I know why people like this movie, but I definitely don't like this movie. But then it's only an hour and a half. It goes by quicker once we start, we get the romance storyline. We actually get more demons as well. The boy band drops in. So I thought it got a little bit better along the way, and I ended up liking it just fine. Like, it's whatever. I'm not going to watch it again, but I understand why people like it at least. So I have respect for it.
This is why Daigle's reviews are fantastic, because he's able to go, this wasn't a movie made for John Daigle, but I understand why other people like this movie. And Rob's just like, I don't like it, so it's trash. This was awful. This was awful. It's the worst thing that has ever been created.
I was 5 minutes in, and I was like, man, I just wish I would give anything to be watching this movie next to Rob, knowing he absolutely hates his life in this very moment I'm watching it too.
Rob, did you hate your life watching this movie?
Honestly, Dean, I want to hear your opinion first, because we were looking for your opinion as well. So why don't you take the floor and let us know what you thought of this?
Because it's not a Dean movie either.
No, I don't like K-pop. I don't like anime. I generally don't like cartoons. One of my big takeaways of this is I asked myself, what if this was just like a Tarantino movie? And it was like the same exact story, basically, but it wasn't anime and there was no singing, but like the general plot. And I was like, the general plot was fine. The singing, I didn't really care for. It's not my genre. It's not my wheelhouse, but I can understand why people liked it. And the singing was certainly poppy and catchy. I'm sure the more you watch this, the more you like it. That's how just pop songs just kind of work. But I was sort of asking, and like Tarantino, I'll just let him hold my hand wherever he's going. I'm on board. I'll watch whatever he puts out there. So like,
man,
and like, did Kill Bill? Like,
sorry to cut you off. Did you hear Tarantino's quote that came out today?
No, what it is? Oh no, about Paul Dano, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, just out of nowhere, completely ripped this dude apart. Called him an absolute trash actor. Saying There Will Be Blood could have been one of the best movies of all time, but Paul Dano ruined the movie. Like,
he said that exact sentence. Yeah,
I think he said he was soft. He's like the most soft actor out there, or something like that. Side note: I think There Will Be Blood is amazing, and I think Paul Dano
called him the worst actor in the entire Screen Actors Guild.
There's got to be a backstory
out of nowhere.
There has to be something else. Well, I guess he's not going to be in the next movie.
We would all universally agree that Paul Dano's a good actor. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, he's great.
I think he has a niche that he fits really well, but the stuff that he fits good well.
Absolutely,
that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
There Will Be Blood is incredible.
Prisoners is
incredible. Yeah.
Little Miss Sunshine, but also that's kind of his niche. Is like exactly that character. Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't hate this, and I thought I would hate it, and I thought it was like fine. Am I going to watch it again? Just like no, I'm not going to watch it again. Not unless I get to watch it next to Rob. Maybe I'll watch it again. We can watch it like Beavis and Butthead style or something.
As long as it's on mute.
But I was because like Kill Bill, it's not exactly the same, but like take away the songs, and there was even like a 10-minute like animation scene in Kill Bill, which I loved. I think it's perfect. I think it actually works really well with the story. And I was just kind of asking myself like, what if Tarantino did this story but without the songs, without the cartoons, and made it like a little bit more serious, a little bit more adult? And I'd probably be on board. I think the story was pretty good. The general, it was very, very simple story, but I thought it was pretty solid. Like I didn't hate it. I thought it was perfectly cromulent. Rob,
so that's the review I hope for right there.
It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but what does it do new? And I don't hate anime because I have a freaking anime tattoo. Like there's animes that I do enjoy. I didn't like the animation in this. I thought it was worse than the Spider-Man animation. And I thought that's
I think it's better.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, the editing, it's so much smoother. And that's got me excited for the third Spider-Man movie now because it's the same, like they're just enhancing the what they've done. Yeah, all like the editing is so much smoother in this.
But that's why I don't like it as much. I don't think that the Spider-Man one is supposed to be smooth. Different movie, anyways.
Very
I think
terrible animation.
I think it's like the technology though, like it just keeps getting better and it shows like where that has me excited for the third movie.
Yeah, if it ever comes out.
It will. Just gotta be patient, man.
The music is they just keep doing the same songs. There's no progression in the music. It's like 4 songs back to back to back, just over and over and over, same songs. The plot is
you weren't shaking your shoulder to Soda Pop.
Oh, that was the worst. Like the other songs, like I didn't like all of the music, but that was the worst of all the songs. That one was terrible.
I feel like in a way though, it's like supposed to be bad. Like it's ironic on itself because it is like it's like cliche catchy. But maybe I'm just looking too much into it and it's just bad.
I mean, Golden's been on top of the Billboard chart for like 20 weeks in a row. So
Golden's the big one. Okay.
Yeah.
I liked. I actually did enjoy. What's the one that they sing to win on the train? The single they make up, overtake or
takedown.
Takedown. I actually kind of dig Takedown.
I was talking to a friend of mine who I mentioned I'm watching this movie. And he's got kids. He's got a young child, so he knows all about it. And apparently, I guess TJ would probably know this too. Golden was so popular that they had to like create a band around it. Like they came up with a band, not necessarily the backup singers, whoever were singing this, but I guess they made a band, spun it off out of the movie that exists. Was he true? Was he right about this? Does he know what he's talking about?
No. So it's the people who have been performing it at the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade and all over the like talk show circuit and stuff like that. That's the same people who sing it in the movie. And
okay.
It's just there's the people who voice the 3 main characters are not the people who sing the 3 main characters.
That's
the singers helped develop this movie and were writing these songs. And it's actually a pretty cool story because the singer for Rumi, the main character, like the one who hits all the high notes and things like that, she had been trying to make it in the K-pop world for a while, but they kind of told her like, hey, you're pretty good, but you're too old. We're looking to like start
27. What's too old for K-pop world?
We're starting to like we want to start with younger groups who have a little bit more runtime here, where you're kind of past your due date in this industry. And now she's one of the most famous K-pop singers in the world because of this movie. And so it was one of those things where she had kind of missed her shot, but then was part of this movie and has now kind of surpassed all expectations of where she ever wanted to be. So it's kind of a cool story on that front.
I assume they're going to sing it at the Oscars.
Yeah, for sure.
They do all the songs.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was nominated or it's going to be nominated.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah,
it is one of
Song
them.
of the Year.
Oh,
For
I
sure.
didn't see that. Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember what the category or who else is in the category, but I think it is.
Traditionally, they typically anybody who's nominated sings.
Yeah, they do the
it'll
song.
win the Song of the Year for sure, and then it'll probably be between this and Zootopia 2 for which wins animated movie of the year. Or I guess Nezha 2 as well, since that was a $1 billion movie.
I googled Saja, the Saja boys. You guys know I didn't know what that meant, so I was curious what it was. And it says in different languages it means something different. Arabic it means calm or serene, but in Korean it can mean lion or more symbolically Grim Reaper. So they're just like telling you, right, in the name exactly what they stand for, I suppose. But that was
their logo is like the lion and stuff too.
Yeah, I'm assuming I didn't know that. I had no idea. I was just curious what that Saja boys. I wasn't sure what that word meant. Rich, I guess you've seen this before. I don't know if you've seen it multiple times, but
yeah, I have a 13 and 10-year-old, so this one's yeah. I will say that while this is passable and enjoyable to a level for that like level of stuff you have to watch versus like brain rot and whatever hell all these kids are into now, there is a version of this movie that actually punches up and like is a good movie. I think that's what's the only thing I would say like after seeing this movie a bunch of times because my kids is like there's a version it's like, oh, I wish they would have actually like developed this and turned this into a story, right? The stuff with like Rumi's mom or even like how the idols are overworked. It's like this movie could have punched up and been more an adult and maybe done like more Spider-Verse-y stuff. I think that's my one complaint about it is that like it had another gear I think it could have went to and they held back on it just to be more of a kid's movie.
What's the other movie?
what's the like R-rated or PG-13?
No, just like it could be just PG still. Just
Okay.
But even with the humor, like, so that's sort of my point with other stuff in this movie as well. The humor in this movie is so lazy.
It's straight for kids. It's like
they didn't.
there's no innuendos at all.
They didn't try to layer the humor at all.
No Simpsons
like
stuff.
like that's why like SpongeBob can be enjoyed by every age because there's so many different layers to the comedy written there. This is straight up for 4-year-olds.
Yeah, it's just straight for kids, and there's a good message in the movie. I just don't know if they explain it well until the very end of it. Like maybe that's the point, but
no. I mean, she just goes back to work. Like I thought it's hilarious.
well, I meant more so like with her bandmates too. Like
Yeah.
because they get their little message out as well, and that everybody suffers with like insecurities and stuff like that. But I don't know if they even everything's so for kids, and then I don't even think that comes across well for kids. Is kind of my problem for it, but. Like it's a fine
kids love
movie,
it.
but-
The kids
The
definitely
kids
love it.
disagree. Yeah, the kids disagree.
well, for that
Sure.
message is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like just
Yeah.
particular. The kids probably love it, but like I don't know. The movie's lazy-ish to me overall.
I think
like,
that's definitely like my one pick apart with it because I've seen it so many times. It's just like there was a punch up version of this that actually probably was like really good across all age demographics.
As someone who watches a lot of movie for kids, just from having a child and then being in the industry of like having to cover these things for work, it's I would say like the best targeted for kids movie I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years. Well, second to Wild Robot actually. Wild Robot won this too.
yeah, Wild Robot was way better than this.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, Wild Robot covered a lot of themes and more. They were a lot deeper.
Yes, 100%. Anything else you want to say as far as K-pop? It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, and I mean that as a compliment. And I can definitely see loving this as a kid. I understand why kids would love this. So TJ, I wasn't miserable. Didn't hate it.
Heck yeah.
K-pop Demon Hunters. I wasn't miserable.
Put that in the back of the DVDs.
That's the review.
That's
I mean,
literally all I
Rob
hope
was
for.
pretty nice. The pictures that Rob sent were.
Well, I think Rob's pictures were him intimidating about the movie he picked for us tonight, which is
No, it was me being miserable while watching this movie.
Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't see it until afterwards because I saw them all collectively. I was on a show, so I didn't.
I was sending 15-minute updates. Every 15 minutes, I was updating my emotions from watching this movie.
You look more and more frumpy as the photo.
I thought you were gonna send it when it was over of you being happy. Like the
I was waiting for one of them, just like hoping there'd be like a just like at one of the turns in the movie, like, oh.
I had to stop, unfortunately, because you weren't going to get anything new from me.
We have anything else that we want to say as far as K-pop Demon Hunters, or shall we give it a rating and move on to Rob's selection?
So we have to play the IMDb.
Okay, well, let's first play. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was that, Rob?
Just saying we have to play the IMDb game before we get into my selection.
Oh, Rob is gonna be real mad at this. Like me last week.
Rich, you're going to go first. Let's go Rotten Tomatoes. Rich, give me both the critics and the audience. Do kids?
This is a ludicrous score.
Do kids rate on Rotten Tomatoes? Like, are like 8-year-olds going on Rotten Tomatoes and putting a score in? I can't imagine.
But I even think critically it has a ludicrous, because remember, Rotten Tomatoes is thumbs up, and like Dean, you basically you're like, yeah, like cool, and I feel like it's gonna be like both are in the 90s, right?
I'd give it a thumb up. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to say yes or no. But I would.
I just don't know how high is too high, but I think both are in the 90s. I'll say, let's just do 95 even for both, and make you guys have to go up or down from there.
I should say 92 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Only 500 plus verified ratings for the popcorn meter. That's for the audience. But yeah, that's a big enough sample, I suppose. 592 for official reviewers. 95 is the bar. Daigle, what do you got?
Okay, let's do 91 for critics and 89 for audience.
TJ?
90. Let's go double 96.
Price is right at me.
Well, this makes my life easy because now all I have to do is double 94, and I'm in great shape.
You can't even go lower. So
This is what the game's turned into.
there's a lot of strategy in this. 96 for critics, 92
Wow.
92 reviews, 96%. 500 plus verified ratings, reviews for the popcorn meter. 99% from the audience.
Oh my God.
99%. Wow, that's a hell of a number. Rob, IMDb 1 through 10.
Oh my God, it's got to be like 8.7.
No, this will be because even by your own thing, would you have gave it a thumbs down in the?
I would abstain, I think.
Because that's all. This is the problem with Rotten Tomatoes, man. Like this is why.
Yeah. Rob, do you want to stick by 8.7? You can stick.
Yeah,
by
I'll stick by 8.7. It's fine.
TJ.
I'll go flat 8.
Daigle.
I feel like TJ is just going to get exactly everything on this. 7.7.
Yeah, I don't think this is an 8 over on IMDb. I think it's in the 7s somewhere. Would you say 7.7?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say, if we price this right, I just have to say 7.1 and then cover it. But yeah, I'll just say 7.6 to go under you, just to be closer,
Great.
in case it's under. Unless it's
If we-
7.9, then we're cooked.
If we technically price is right it, we'd all the bid again, but we're not going to do that. Rich is the closest at 7.5, which is still a very, very strong score
Yeah.
on IMDb.
It's a more reasonable audience.
Yeah. 7.5 is a very strong score.
Yeah.
On for IMDb. Okay, Rob. I was gonna say we're all nervous. I'm nervous. The floor is yours. You won last week. You get to assign a movie.
Hold on,
Where's
we
your
need.
scores?
Yeah, we got to do our scores.
Scores. Yes. All right. TJ.
It's not like last week, Dean. We're not in a hurry. No friendsgiving afterwards.
That's what I feel
You can
like.
talk about this movie openly. Like, we're not in a hurry to get off this show this week.
I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh no, we're almost at 2 hours. But yeah,
We are almost. Yeah, we can still get out of here, but we need to give our scores.
Yeah.
TJ, you have a superhero?
If I gave this, I think a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, but in terms of our superhero rating, this is the clearest and most obvious Luna Snow there ever has been. Character that has gotten hyper popularized from Marvel Rivals game. She is a K-pop singer in the Marvel universe with ice powers, and so Luna Snow.
Ice powers? Like she can throw like snowballs or something? What kind of ice powers does she have?
I mean, yeah, probably some sharper and harder things than snow, but
Basic instinct?
yeah, I haven't read anything with her in it or anything. In the game, she just like heals people by shooting ice at them.
All right. The chat's saying it's an Iceman ripoff. Could you confirm that, TJ?
No, not quite the same power sets, and then a totally different character.
Rob, 1 through 5?
It sounds so different, TJ. You really convinced me.
Okay, do you want me to pull up her power?
No, I
power
actually do
set? I
not.
can do it.
I'm convinced. 1 through 5, Rob.
2.2 for me.
Oh, higher than I thought.
Okay. Yeah. I rate 1 out of 100, and I'll give it a 61. 61. Pretty solid. It's fine enough. Not for me. I get it, but I can respect it. Daigle, we need a wrestler.
There's one that fits, and Rob's going to be mad because it's actually a good wrestler going with this movie, but the one that fits the most, given that it's for children, and basically the children in this movie and all the fans are hypnotized at some point by a demon, and who fits that better than Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, who was a child show host, but then weaponized the children by hypnotizing them as his demon character.
I'm not sure if people are watching the screen, but Rob gave the most the eye roll
Because he knows it's perfect.
So I just looked up Luna Snow's full power set. Yeah, she's basically an Iceman ripoff. She can do the exact same thing, but not as strong as Iceman. And instead of it being a mutant power, it's magical ice power.
Oh, Jesus.
Shout out to the chat for being on that.
3 and B was the answer, Daigle, by the way. 3 and B.
Oh, that's a good one too. I think the Fiend is better though.
3 MB.
Yeah.
The 3-man band.
Why 3M? Should I ask why 3 MB?
It just they were.
3 people in the band. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But but basically it's still just a band though. Like I guess it's a music act that works too.
Music that nobody liked. So.
Hribar, I'm really curious what tight end we get here, Hribar. What do you got for me?
No, this one's pretty clean. I think this movie's completely, it's fine for what it passes to be. There's probably a better version of it, I think would be my one critique of it. And so I think it's pretty easy that it would be a K-pop demon Hunter Henry.
That's pretty good. I like that. well played. That was nicely done.
Let's go.
All right. So that is our scores. Now, I was just really excited, or I wanted to get it over with. I'm really nervous that Rob's going to sign this.
Yeah.
I felt like he was taunting. I thought he was taunting us with the faces as far as what movie he was going to sign us, but I guess he was just showing us how he was not enjoying the movie. But Rob, is this a democracy or is it a dictatorship? I feel like
it was going to be a democracy. I had some movies to pick from. I'm also embarrassed that it took me this long to win this tournament, but at least it came on the week of
a good
DFS week for me, where we almost shipped all the tournaments. So
congrats.
That was good. But I was thinking, I'm like, man, you know what we haven't had a lot of in this? We haven't had a lot of Steven Seagal or Danny Trejo. So I was thinking maybe we should do Machete. And then I was like, maybe we just jump to Machete Kills. And then I was like, you know what? I might not win this tournament again this year. And
we're all running out of weeks.
We're running out of weeks, and you guys have just been picking too good of movies lately. And we need to look at the other end of that IMDb scale a little bit.
Jenny disagrees, by the way.
Well, she's going to love this one because I almost picked Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which if you've never seen that, you need to watch that. But we're going to watch a movie that has made cinematic history, and you need to make sure you watch the right one. It is on Tubi. It is from 1990. Rich, you're going to love this because there's a How Did This Get Made about it.
All right.
And if you guys end up watching, you're going to watch this movie. If you're enthralled by it, there's a great documentary on it as well. We are going to watch
The Island of Dr. Moreau.
The room was too good. That other one,
not good.
Island of Dr. Well, it's not good. But we're going to watch Troll 2.
Is that with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Troll 2? No.
Is he not one of the trolls?
Oh no, they wish that he was in this
a child version. Was it like a child version of Leonardo DiCaprio in one of the trolls? Am I making that up?
Do I need to watch the first Troll?
Yeah.
So you don't need to, and we will talk about why next week.
So the trolls talk? I don't get it. What's happening?
Oh, you're gonna see. I can't tell you anything else.
The whole movie's in Norwegian.
No, that's the one they just released this week. It looks like
2025 film on Netflix.
Yeah, you need to find the
1990. Tubi has it.
The remake ruined it. They made it too good.
Oh yeah, that looks a lot.
This looks horrible.
Because you brought up Tubi, I want to shout out a friend of mine's podcast. It's called Free Space on all socials. It's how to watch free TV, and the whole thing is like various streaming platforms like Tubi and things like that. They'll find high quality content on streaming services that don't cost any money for people to watch, and so I want to
Troll 2.
Shout that out since we're gonna go to Tubi for Troll 2.
It is amazing. You can watch awesome movies for free, like now, like just like through your TV and through like just all you need is Wi-Fi, and there's like incredible. I'm sure there's commercials and stuff, but I can't believe like incredible movies are available just to watch. Those don't cost me a thing. But
do we want to guess the budget of Troll 2?
I know the budget of Troll 2.
Now the 1981 or the one
1990.
Oh God, I saw the box. I would say it's like $150,000.
10,000.
100,000.
Oh, okay.
No, it was not 100,000. You were lied to. They wish they had $100,000.
Troll 2 is the cited source.
If you guys end up being enthralled by this, watch the documentary, The Best Worst Movie Ever Made. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. It's fascinating watching some of the behind the scenes stuff on this, like after the fact. So if you are just mesmerized by this movie,
is the Netflix movie this movie remade, or is it?
No,
Oh, okay.
No, I can't
Rob,
say anything
according
else.
to the-
All right,
According
fair
to the
enough.
script writer,
Stop
it
looking
was
things up.
100K.
You gotta go in blind. It's
Yeah.
important.
Fine.
I just realized the mistake I made with Leonardo DiCaprio. I was thinking of Critters 3.
Oh yeah, Critters.
Very often
I remember
confused
those
with
movies.
Troll. Yeah. I knew Leo was in a sequel to some ridiculous horror movie when he was a kid, and it was Critters 3, which is I assume is terrible, but I don't know. You've probably seen it, Rob?
I don't remember Critters 3.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look up anymore, but just from the images, it really looks like the same grainy film as Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which I watched because we reviewed with Rich on your movie podcast. And it's a fantastically bad movie, but fantastic experience.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping you get that with this as well.
Good.
Because I do every time I watch it.
You guys reviewed Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Like,
We
break it
got
down.
It's legitimately great.
We got a whole on that episode. We got a whole thing about Daigle being in a Russian circus. It was insane.
I do have photos of me being in a Russian circus. Yeah.
The Daigle's got some great stories, man.
Yeah.
Daigle, you were in a Russian circus?
You gotta go listen to the show. That's the tease.
Yeah, you got to go back 3 years ago and listen to the show. Talk about how I was literally at a Moscow circus and I was plucked out of the crowd and I could not speak Russian. So I had to whisper in English to the clown that brought me in front of everyone.
You're like the Dos Equis guy. I feel like that every week there's something new. There's a new layer. The most interesting.
Well, yeah, when I'm not having Malort, I can tell stories. Yeah.
All right. That does it. We're watching. I guess we all got to download Tubi if we don't have it already. I believe
It's free.
Yeah.
And real quick, just because I got to pitch something. If I were you guys, I would just be following the Hometown Ghost Stories Instagram tomorrow and maybe the Chris Jericho Instagram tomorrow.
Oh.
I just would be doing that if I were you guys.
Okay. I mean, yeah, just that's a tease. We'll just leave it at that.
That's the tease, yeah.
All right. Hometown Ghost Stories, Chris Jericho. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. What else you have to tell people about Hometown Ghost Stories besides that? Or is that enough?
That's enough for today.
TJ, tell the people where they can find you.
At Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else, agentsofandom.com on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. This week we had actually dropped something every day this week. We had some Zootopia 2 interviews on Monday. Tuesday, we had our Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1 breakdown. Wednesday, we dropped our review of Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery. Tomorrow, on Thursday, we got our Comic Corner show. And then on Friday, we are talking about episodes 3 to 6 of Pluribus. So busy week, talking a lot of great content.
Daigle?
EstablishTheRun.com, where you can have all of those week 16 or 17 defense questions answered, because I just put out the streaming rankings. It's all look ahead. It's going to change. I'll keep it updated, but I have week 15 through 17 rankings for everyone up there right now.
Rich?
Sharp Football Analysis still writing up 3 more weeks of games, breaking everything down in detail. So check that stuff out. I also will be doing the playoff games too, but that's a little easier.
Appreciate y'all listening. About 2 hours this week, hour and a half of football, half hour of movies and nonsense for Rich, for Daigle, for Rob, for TJ, for Hunter Henry, for Trolls 2, for Critters 3. I was Dean. Go win something this week. We're out of here. Oh!